My name is Tim Barton, and I'm one of the folks involved with Spotlight Vermont and the Black Box Theater at Spotlight. This is another in an effort to support new work development. Happy Thanksgiving is a play that I read first a couple of years ago. I found it on the Play Exchange. I reached out to the playwright, and Tim and I have been working on making this happen for a while. Coincidentally, it turns out he lives about an hour north of here, in both Montreal and also has a lovely cabin very close by to some dear friends of ours. So it's sort of serendipitous that we all made this work the way that we did. And it's a table read. It's the first reading of a revised version of the script, which was originally written in 2016 by Tim, and not long after the presidential election. We're hoping to actually do a full production of this sometime in 2024. We think it's an interesting piece for the times, shall we say. So I'm going to just take a moment to introduce some of the folks. This is Bridget Edwards. Bridget is our stage manager, will be filling us in with some stage prompts for the purpose of the table read. Quinn Rawle, to my left. Kathy Walsh, Marcy Diamond, Mise Jones, Mario Rousseau, and Johnny Bart. So we hope you enjoy this. Any words, Tim, that you want to say? We're lucky enough to have the playwright with us today. And we're also really hoping that you stay for a few minutes after the reading. There will be a talk back. We're very interested in feedback and your thoughts on what you've seen here today.
We should now cell phones, please.
Yes, and that was the most important thing my wife said. And tell them to turn on the cell phone. Of course, that's what I. So, without further ado.
Happy Thanksgiving, a 2-act play. Time, Thanksgiving Day, 2016, 2 weeks after the election. Place, Michigan, USA. Act 1, Scene 1, living room, midday. Middle-class home, tastefully appointed, not rich. Lived in, but not worn. Neat, proper, prideful. Arthur Harmon walks in with extra drink glasses, which he sets on a side table carrying liquor bottles. Bev Harmon enters from same off-stage kitchen area.
They'll be here in 5 minutes.
Sarah Malie?
No, Debbie and Hector, they just called.
To prepare us?
Or warn us. What a Thanksgiving this is going to be.
Relax. Everything's going to be fine.
You took the Trump signs off the front lawn, right?
No.
You left the Trump signs on the front lawn? Are you looking to start a fight with Deb?
Why do we have to hide who we voted for? She knows.
What did we say about today?
We're not going to talk about politics.
And what do you think those Trump signs out there are saying to her?
We have nothing to be ashamed of. Fred still has his out, and so does Merle next door.
Fred and Merle are Fred and Merle. You are a good winner. You don't rub it in. Worse than a bad loser is a bad winner.
And what about them being good losers?
So easy to say when you've won. Those signs are all Debbie needs to set her off. You know how upset she is. Now, please, go get those signs off the front lawn. Now.
It was just a presidential election, not the end of the world.
To her side, it was the end of the world. Hurry, they'll be here any minute.
Arthur exits upstage left.
I'm only doing this for you, love of my life.
Not for me. For the sanctity of Thanksgiving and this family.
Beth stops, takes some deep breaths, tries to still herself. moment. Arthur rushes in with Make America Great Again and Trump Pence signs in his arms.
Happy?
I thought we only had 2 outside. Where did you get all those?
I took Fred and Merle's signs too.
I never asked you to take theirs too.
Subconsciously, I know you wanted me to.
Arthur Harmon, you don't want to ever know what I'm thinking subconsciously.
To be continued later. What do we do with them?
Put them in the trash.
No way.
Why? You don't need them anymore.
For 2020.
I wouldn't be looking that far ahead for him. They'll be here any minute. Hide them, quick.
In the basement?
The basement? We may be down there later. Upstairs.
In the hallway closet.
No. In one of the bedrooms. Under the bed. Put Trump under the bed.
Bet he's never been there before.
Don't mess with that. Go.
Arthur Harmon shakes head, secures the signs in his arms, hustles upstage, and exits off stage for the upstairs.
Promise me you're not going to talk about politics today.
Not unless she starts it.
Not even if Jesus starts it. No politics.
We've always talked politics in this house.
And you ever wonder why our children move so far away?
Now, don't blame that on me.
This is Thanksgiving. There are no Democrats or Republicans on Thanksgiving. Today, we're all just Americans. One big, happy American family.
Until Black Friday starts. And it's every American for himself.
I can't believe Jerry is making me work tonight. I never thought at this age I would be working on Thanksgiving.
They should start calling it Black Thanksgiving. You barely finish your turkey and pumpkin pie, and off you go to work.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad if we at least had some business.
I'm back. You don't have to yell. Who gets their hair done at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Jerry's hoping to sell lots and lots of hair products.
How many women want to buy hair products on Thanksgiving night?
If they're at a discount, plenty. See if they're not there yet.
Hold on.
Walks upstage, looks offstage through a window.
They've arrived.
We sure cut that one close.
Sort of arrived.
What do you mean, sort of arrived?
They're just sitting in the car, in the driveway.
She must have seen you taking those signs off the lawn.
She did not see me. I checked as I was coming back in.
Oh, God. I hope she took her medication.
Her anti-Trump drug?
Do not sell things like that. What are they doing now?
Hector's getting out of the car.
Oh, good.
By himself, alone. Deborah's on the phone. Hector must be running reconnaissance, checking the enemy out.
We are not the enemy.
You're the enemy.
We're not the enemy. We're family. No matter who anyone voted for, we're still family.
Not to the losers.
Stop that. Arthur Harmon, you promise me today, this entire weekend, no gloating.
You know sometimes I can't control what my face does.
No gloating. We are good winners.
Doorbell.
I'll get it. You just stay your normal, calm, placid self.
I'm very calm.
Why can't we hold Thanksgiving like the Canadians do in October, before the election?
Arthur returns with son-in-law Hector Gonzalez carrying 2 suitcases in.
Happy
Thanksgiving, Hector.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You know, we could have picked you up at the airport. You didn't have to rent a car.
Dad wanted to.
Better to make a fast getaway in case things go downhill.
Arthur.
He's not that far off.
Let me take those.
How are you, Hector?
I've been better.
We understand.
Will our firstborn be joining us anytime soon?
How long does it take to convince an electoral college elector to change his vote?
On Thanksgiving Day?
There are no days off for Deborah right now.
It's never going to work. You might turn 1 or 2 electors, but not 30.
What did we agree on?
We're not going to talk politics today.
Oh, wow. A real day off.
She's out of the car.
Yes. That's my girl.
She stopped.
Stopped? Where?
On the walk. She just sat down on the lawn.
It's cold out there. She'll catch pneumonia.
Least of our worries.
She hates us.
She doesn't hate us.
Yes, she does. We voted against our first female president. She hates us.
Hector?
She hates you. Let him hate you. She almost backed out as you were boarding the plane, but I convinced her to come.
What did you tell her?
I asked her how often we will get the chance to mix it up with the enemy.
See, I told you, we're the enemy.
We are not the enemy. Hector?
You're the enemy. But hopefully it's temporary.
She just needs time. Losing is hard for everyone.
Arthur, how much time will she need?
Your guess is as good as anyone's. For Deb, losing a presidential election is like going through the 5 stages of grief.
Where's she at now? In the anger stage?
She is actually doing the first 4 all at once. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression.
But after that, it's acceptance, right?
I wouldn't count on that one. Have you read some of her Facebook posts?
I can't bear to anymore. She needs to stop writing every little feeling she has on that Facebook and Twitter. Middle of the night. Posting things at 3 in the morning. When does she sleep?
She doesn't. You should try sleeping next to her. My sleep cycle is completely bonkers.
All have to get off that social media. It's like
Drop it.
I didn't want to say it.
It's true. I've tried to break away, but then, bang, fall out the way, right back on.
Whatever happened to diaries? Personal journals. That's what I should get Debbie for Christmas. A nice diary. Something with seashells on it.
She's not a beach person.
Well, that's true. But something to write down her thoughts. Have a private conversation with just herself.
Our generation isn't interested in privacy.
I know. You go to a restaurant and you post pictures of your meal. We don't really care to know.
You should get her a dog. Long walks with a dog. Best therapy known to man. She's up. She's on the move.
That's it. You can do it, baby.
She's back now.
Poor Hector. I don't know how you put up with her. She can never lose you. We can never lose you.
She's up again. She's on the move. I think we're good.
They should cancel Thanksgiving during presidential election year.
I'll second that.
We could have had 3 more different children if we planned out a socialist,
Democratic socialist here.
whatever that is.
A Democratic socialist, a gay Republican son, and then what is someone for Hillary for president?
A feminist with a Facebook problem?
The doorbell rings.
She's here.
I can get it.
No, Hector. We want her to think this is always her home. In here, darling.
They wait nervously. Deborah Harley Gonzalez appears, almost gaunt, dressed in black. Her hair is chopped almost violently short, dark and pale.
Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, my. What did you do to your hair?
I cut it.
I see. And the color? So dark. When did you do that?
After the election,
Kind of a post-election makeover?
Arthur?
right on the money, Dad. I needed to make myself over.
I wonder if that's what's going on at the salon.
What?
A number of young women coming in the last 2 weeks asking to almost chop their hair off and go very dark.
It's not a makeover. It's a political statement.
Arthur? Deborah, today we are not going to talk politics.
Very convenient now that you're on the winning side.
Hey, you won the popular vote.
You had to get that one in, didn't you?
Arthur, she's got a rental car. She can leave any time.
I'm trying to be the good winner here.
Keep working on it. Take their coats, dear.
Arthur. Deborah.
Deborah removes hers to reveal herself dressed in all black.
Oh my. Is someone going to a funeral?
I really don't want to be here.
I'm gathering that.
Like, if Robert starts in...
Your father talked to your brother last night after he arrived. He promised no politics.
I have parents and a brother who voted for a pussy-grabbing white nationalist for
Hold
president.
on, right there. You know the definition of a ceasefire? That's not it.
Please, sweetheart.
We have to find a way to get past this. It's still early. No one really knows what's going to happen. He doesn't deserve a chance.
Look at all the people he's parading through Fifth Avenue Palace that used to interview for jobs. A gang of tax-evading billionaires, xenophobic racists, and
He's making it hard for me to keep my promise, dear.
I'm supposed to just sit here today and ask you to please, pass the cranberry sauce when people's lives are going to be irreparably harder in the next 4 years.
I think he's more talk than anything else. It was a campaign. He'll come back to the center.
Look at his family. The children, also well-groomed. It's
Don't even get me started on that self-absorbed Barbie doll. Ivanka in her brain.
Well, what about Elijah? So elegant and reserved.
The immigrant wife of an anti-immigrant president who's decided their 10-year-old son will remain in Trump Tower until June so he can finish his school year?
You don't think moving in the middle of the school year could be disrupting for him?
It's costing taxpayers $1 million a day to provide security so some Silver Spoon Elementary School kid can finish out his school year? Yeah, this is your people's president. Man up, Donald. Get some balls, tell your trophy wife and your little enfant wall, pack your bags, you're going to Washington.
Sweetheart, I don't mean to pry, but did you take your,
My anti-anxiety drug?
you do seem rather anxious.
Why don't I just call it my anti-Trump drug?
I suggested that name before.
Arthur, you do Stop.
You think you've won, but it's not over. He can still be stopped. Until the electoral college votes are tallied and the voter recounts are completed, we had a chance.
Those voter recounts are a complete waste of money. And as for turning over the electoral college, it's not going to happen.
Please, Arthur. She's entitled to vote.
There's hope and there's reality.
Hope died 2 weeks ago.
No, dear. Hope is always alive. What do we have if we don't have hope?
We're about to find out. This may well be our last Thanksgiving together in Michigan.
Well, how is that, dear?
We were a blue state for as long as I can remember. Now, that's over.
It's just one election. It can swing back.
You went red, Mother. You were one of the states that put him over the top. I mean, how could you?
We didn't mean to. He wasn't supposed to win Michigan. We were as surprised as you were.
Someone the other day asked me where I'm from, and when I told her Michigan, she had this look in her eyes, like, you're from Trumpland. That's the place I call home. It'll never be home again.
Michigan will always be your home.
Tell them.
Dad, we don't know for sure.
Tell them.
We're researching about possibly moving to Canada.
Oh, you don't want to move to Canada, honey.
They have universal health care, a woman's right to choose, paid maternity leave.
You can't go to the Great White North. You think we have winter here? Nothing compared to there. I was up there once for a conference in the beginning of April. They still had 2 feet of snow on the front lawn.
Not anymore. Global warming, in 10 years, they say it'll be like North Carolina.
I can't do this. I tried, but I can't.
Is it time for more medication?
I don't want to medicate myself, Mother.
Then lie down for a while?
I don't have time to lie down. I want to hurt someone.
Oh, no, dear. Violence will never solve anything.
We're in a war. Why can't anyone see that? The enemy is right here at home.
I wouldn't call it a war, dear. We disagree on certain things.
People are going to die. Their policies are going to kill Americans.
You can't predict that.
If they send political refugees back to where they fled from, they will be killed. They take away health care, people will die.
And unborn children have been dying here for decades.
Don't go there, Arthur. Anywhere but there.
No. Say it again, Dad. I'm amazed it took you so long to get there.
Arthur? Don't.
They're going up to break families up. My own husband's. Deportation forces?
They may do a couple of deportations. Obama has too. They'll make it look like they're doing something, then they'll move on.
Right. Building walls, ethnic, racial profiling, banning religious groups.
They're just trying to protect American lives.
You want to protect American lives? Then start going after your fellow Americans. Because more Americans kill other Americans than any terrorists or immigrants combined.
Sweetheart, is there a chance we can put aside our differences today and agree to disagree?
My brother mocks me on Facebook. Ends up on my wall. My friend is CS. He wants a war, he's gonna get one.
Sweetie, remember what that nice Michelle Obama says. When they go low, we go high.
Screw high. We need to go low. Fight them in the trenches.
Well, I know it feels bad now, but you're going to get through this.
Then I'm gonna need a whole lot more drugs than I'm currently prescribed for.
And these are the good days.
Sound door opening.
That must be Robert. Talk with him.
We have nothing in common.
Your family. If nothing else, that's what you have in common.
It's not enough, Mother. Not anymore.
For me,
Robert in red Make America Great Again pen. And
See there! Look at that! He's already starting the tax-avoiding hedge fund capitalist pig that I call
Deborah, do not call your brother a pig.
Great to see you too, kiddo.
Robert, what have I told you about wearing hats inside the house?
What about my free speech rights?
Free speech out there. In here, my rules. No hats. Off.
Dad,
No political propaganda, symbols, souvenirs, or accessories.
You heard your mother. Off with the hat.
so much for the Constitution.
Your mother suspended the Constitution years ago. We're under martial law at this point.
No one's under martial law
Deborah,
yet.
today I come in peace.
Thank you, dear.
I know you're hurting. I feel your pain.
Then stop replying to my Facebook posts.
Then stop provoking me with your liberal, elitist victimization, Babylon.
I am not sitting across the dining table making effing nice.
Keep it up, and there's going to be martial law.
I'm here this weekend to watch some football and get some nice dark meat off the turf.
See that?
What now?
The Republican attitude and entitlement. He gets the dark meat, and the rest of us, we get the white.
Okay, I'll eat the dry, democratic white meat. Football begin.
You know I try to make the white meat as juicy as possible, but it's very tricky.
Football.
You have a problem with football?
You like watching young black men maim each other in the name of sports?
I'm not telling them what to do. They choose it. Some of them are white, too.
Mostly young black men who have lived like less than us, seduced by billionaires' megabucks to risk their brains to the point of a life of painkillers, depression, and suicide.
We just streamed the movie Concussion.
What? Every Sunday, white America on electric recliners watching black America break each other's bodies?
What do you propose?
If enough of you stopped watching it, maybe they'd change the sport.
To...
Well, I know, why can't they play flag football?
doorbell rings.
Ah, Sarah Mavic, saved by the bell.
I'll get it.
No, dear, not necessary. You don't have keys. We want all of you to feel this is always your home. Isn't that right, Arthur?
Yes. We want all of you to think you can still come back here, but the bottom line is you're all gone and none of you are ever coming back or we're changing the lock.
Don't listen to me. You're always welcome.
Besides, none of you will ever need to come back here. You're all part of a social network. Who needs family when you've got a social network?
Arthur, are you finished?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. You made good time.
Is the Lions game on now? Or did I say something wrong?
Now that everyone's here, let's get some ground rules straight. We're not going to talk politics today, and we're not going to talk about the neurological consequences of playing football.
Neurological consequence? Would you like us to go back outside and come in again?
No, we'd still end up in the same place.
Gentlemen, I believe our first game is about to begin. Another Thanksgiving with the Detroit Lions. Dear Lord, pray for us.
Pray for the entire country. They have to endure it too.
To the basement?
That's it. Go to your Neanderthal man cave.
That's it. Ready, Neanderthals? Follow me to the man cave.
All men rise, make their way upstage, right, and take so.
It's amazing when men get together as a group. It's like they'd all drop 40 IQ points.
You're being too conservative.
Girls, I need to get back to the kitchen.
We can help you.
No, I'll be okay.
You don't think we're very good in the kitchen, do you?
Well, all of you are always eating in restaurants all the time. I don't understand that.
We're very busy, Mother. We don't have time to cook.
Well, make time. Cooking is where you learn about yourself. What's most important? You want to feed your soul? Learn how to feed your stomach.
Then maybe you could start to teach us today.
Another time. You two haven't seen each other in a while. Take this time to catch up. Just no politics.
No politics. It's one of the things I'm most proud of with this family. Everyone's so engaged.
And at each other's throats.
It's been a long year.
America needs to heal.
Believe you need to heal. We'll be fine, Mother. No politics? You want to talk about the Detroit Lions? How's your flipping electoral college electors going?
There are some definitely thinking of switching.
That's good.
Unfortunately, most of them are Hillary electors.
What do they want?
A third candidate. Another Republican.
But that won't get Hillary elected.
I know.
And how are you doing?
Other than medicating myself around the clock?
Is this all really worth your health?
No. I'll probably be much sicker with the alternative.
You had your alternative staring you right in the face.
Your Bernie movement.
At least we had a movement, not some grand tour of female destiny.
Your candidate split us in half. He's the reason we lost.
Democrats were split long before Bernie came along. Hey, we Sanders voters still voted for her. It didn't feel good. Felt like a betrayal, but we did. We voted for the first female president. Only problem was you wanted a woman so badly to become president, you let the right past the better candidate.
This country was never going to elect a socialist.
Democratic socialist.
American people would have never gotten the difference. They hear the word socialist, they think commie or pinko.
You think people are so incapable of nuance?
Yeah. How do you think we ended up with this spell-challenged 140-character Twitter freak?
Make America great again didn't seem to connect.
What does that even mean? Great when?
I don't know, but 60 million people figured it out. You were all going along with this sense of inevitability, all ready for this coronation of the first female president, and you forgot one thing. You stopped paying attention to all those people you thought were incapable of nuance.
They are.
Or maybe they're not interested in nuance. Did you ever think of that?
No, they just voted for a tax-evading billionaire who wouldn't let them within 500 feet of his private members-only golf clubs. How could they be so stupid?
If they're so stupid, how are we not smart enough to get their vote?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Maybe we're not as smart as we think we are.
He can still be stopped. The Electoral College doesn't meet for another 3 weeks.
Forget the Electoral College. What you need is another sex tape.
How can you be so calm?
You got elected. The thing we never imagined could happen happened. Life goes on.
How can you say that? You know what's coming. It's going to be bad.
No.
We have so much work ahead of us. Just thinking about it is exhausting.
Look, I don't know what's happening out there, but maybe there's something going on with half the country we need to take the time to understand.
Listen to understand. If the facts are staring them in the face, they won't accept them. I don't have the time and energy to understand them. It's taking everything just to fight them.
How can we fight them if we don't take the time to get to know them, listen to them?
You don't want to know these people.
Then be prepared for them to win more elections.
You're surrendering. You're giving up.
I'm not surrendering. Anything but. Life goes on, dear sister. Life goes on. She rubs her belly softly, suggestively. What? Life goes on.
Wait a minute. Are you Louis?
We're creating a future blue voter.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow, you're smiling. I hate you to smile.
I can't promise how long it's gonna last.
Deb, it's Thanksgiving. I'm pregnant. Allow yourself some joy. We need to feel joy right now.
I'm gonna be an aunt? Oh, well, do you want me down now?
No, we want it to be a surprise. Not a word until Malik and I make the announcement later, okay?
My legs are sealed. Do you know what sense it's gonna be?
It's a surprise. Malik's hoping for they're all one who could one day grow up to be president.
That seems a long way off right now.
It will happen. Just a matter of time. There will be a her. With no small thanks to Hillary.
Electoral College.
Joy, sister. Feel some joy. So hard. I know. Let's go learn some things from Mom in the kitchen. They hug once more, walk arm in arm off stage toward the kitchen. Blacked out. Act 1, Scene 2. Football game halftime. Living room. An hour later, Arthur, Robert, Hector, and Malik are entered carrying a bowl of chips and some bottles of beer.
It could be worse. Ahead at halftime, 10-7. I'll take that any day.
Just wait. The Lions are going to wreck our Thanksgiving as good as the sun comes up in the morning.
How do you know that?
Well, first ever team to go 0-16 in NFL history. Never been to a Super Bowl. One playoff win in 60 years. If that's not enough, then we have to endure this turkey of a team embarrassing us every November Turkey Day.
If they're so bad, how do they keep getting a game every Thanksgiving? Tradition. There's nothing more American than turkey, yams, mashed potatoes, and the Detroit Lions stinking up the biggest meal of the year.
It's really not fair. Our car and manufacturing industry went south to Mexico. We got left with the Detroit Lions. Now that's what you call a trade imbalance.
Mexico would love to have the Detroit Lions.
No, Hector. No matter how much negative press there is about Mexico, not even they deserve the Detroit Lions. So why do you root for them? Because they're our Lions. The losingest team in NFL history.
What would happen if they ever won the Super Bowl?
They would never be our Lions again. They'd be the Chicago Cubs.
Didn't the Cubs just win the World Series after like 100 years or so?
And they'll never be the Chicago Cubs again.
You people be professional.
And Bev re-enters from offstage kitchen.
Straighten up, gentlemen. The CEO is in the boardroom.
Is the game over?
We only wish. Halftime.
How far behind are they?
They're not. They're ahead.
Oh, that's bad. Could they actually win?
If they do, they'll be in first place in the division.
Oh, we don't want that to happen. So, which of you big, strong he-men wants to carve the turkey?
I've never carved a turkey before. No better time to learn than Thanksgiving Day.
Ooh, you have one of those cool electric knives?
No electrical accessories in this house. Real men use real knives.
Follow me into my cave. It's called the kitchen. Let's go, real men.
Bev leads Arthur and Malik off stage.
So, how is it going over there at your nonprofit?
Making a profit. Best year yet. Since election day, donors are just opening their wallets.
How are your parents dealing with what's happening?
They're not nervous.
But if they're illegal,
Actually, they're not. My parents haven't broken any laws. They simply came on a visa and overstayed.
fine.
35 years. It's a civil offense, not a crime, punishable by a fine and or deportation.
If your parents were to need help, legal assistance, I have resources.
My dad's not worried. He trusts America. America takes advantage of underpaying him, taxing him for services he'll never receive, and he takes advantage of them by making more money than he would ever in Mexico. He's confident America will find a way to keep taking advantage of him, and vice versa.
Thank God you were born here.
Born here, but still an outsider.
I know the feeling.
Being gay.
Being a gay Republican.
How does that work? You know, being gay and Republican.
You were for Sanders, right?
Trade for one hell of a year with my Hillary fanatic wife.
But then you Bernie Sanders folks were told to hold your nose and vote for Hillary.
Something like that.
That's what it's like to be a gay Republican.
Are you gay first or Republican first?
Republican. I didn't choose to be gay, but I had a choice of the other.
I like being related to you.
So, when are you and Deborah gonna make me Uncle Robert?
You're starting to sound like my mother.
Oh my god, oh my god!
What? Sarah, what happened?
I can't believe Daddy!
What? What? Sarah!
Malik doesn't even like to be around knives.
Sarah runs back on stage carrying gauze and tape.
Malik cut himself. I don't know what Daddy was thinking. They're not knives. They're switchblades. If Malik loses a finger, I will never forgive Daddy.
Sarah darts off stage towards kitchen.
Your family anything like this?
We're actually the quietest Spanish family you'll ever meet. Where's your Brian this weekend? What's that?
It's complicated.
Do you and Brian ever think about getting married, having children?
It took me long enough to come out as gay, and now all I get asked is, am I getting married, and do I want to have children? I'm barely homosexual, and now I'm being asked to become heterosexual all over. It's very confusing.
Sorry, Brian's not here. I like him.
Can you keep a secret? I don't need Deborah to know right now.
Sure. My lips are sealed.
Brian and I are no longer together.
No. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
I thought the two of you were really good together.
That's what I thought.
What happened?
Donald Trump,
I don't understand.
he got elected. Brian could no longer accept who I was for.
He broke up with you because you're Republican.
He broke up with me because I'm a gay Republican. He wanted me to go back in the closet.
Pretend you weren't gay?
No, pretend I wasn't a Republican. I thought it would be hard being gay in the Republican Party. Nothing compared to being a Republican in the gay one. I was acceptable as long as there was a Democrat in the Oval Office. Election night changed everything. Within 48 hours, I became persona non grata.
Lose them or Can I tell you a secret?
I'm not the best person for secrets. A couple of drinks in me and listed loose lips.
I need to tell someone.
You're not having an affair, are you? I mean, wouldn't blame you. We know Deborah can be a little...
I'm fake.
We would have told you before, but we were afraid you might not marry her.
Oh, I would have. I love her intensity. Passion. It's one of the things that drew me to her. She's got more Latin blood in her than my entire family, but it's not working anymore.
I don't know what to say. What happened?
Donald Trump. Thought when the election was over, we could go back to our lives. For the last year, Deb worked nonstop to make sure that Hillary got elected. Now, for the last 2 weeks, she's been working around the clock to stop what happened. Goes to the protests, the marches. Now she's calling electoral college electors to change their vote today, Thanksgiving Day.
Some people will do anything to avoid watching the Detroit Lions.
I'm all for dissent, protest, march, but I'm afraid something bad is going to happen out there. something just go boom. And there's so much anger out there. Before they despised us. Now we despise them. Where does it end? National wants me to go to the Women's March in Washington the day after the inaugural. I go to the rallies, but I don't want to be there. I come home from work, I just want to kick back, play some video games.
Assassin's Creed. I'm obsessed with that one.
October Revolution.
The latest one?
It's great. I brought it with me.
Oh, we gotta play.
You're on. I have something else to confess.
I think you've confided in me enough already.
She may take this worse.
Then breaking up your marriage? I doubt it.
I didn't vote for Hillary.
You're right. She will take that worse.
I wanted to, but when I got up there to vote, couldn't do it.
If you want to end your marriage, you're going to have to share that with her. Eventually. But not voting for Hillary, no matter how much guilt you feel, never tell her that.
Do you want to know who I voted for?
No! I already know more than I can handle.
Deborah enters, big smile on her face.
Is everything all right there with Blake?
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks to Daddy.
You're smiling. Is there something wrong?
We just identified another Republican elector who's thinking of becoming faithless.
A faithless Republican. I didn't know they existed.
From Utah, a Mormon.
Oh, well, that explains things.
He can be stopped. One elector at a time.
You stopped, Deborah.
What?
It's Thanksgiving. I've had it. It's enough. I'm sorry, but she lost. It's over.
Nothing is over.
It's over, and it wasn't meant to be. Hillary's accepted it, conceded that night. Why can't you?
This is where I make myself scarce.
Don't leave.
Tell the others I'm downstairs suffering with the lions.
Robert makes a quick exit upstage.
That was uncalled for. Deborah, I
Yeah. Whatever you have to say, just say it.
I didn't vote for Hillary.
What?
Didn't vote for Hillary.
What are you talking about?
I didn't vote for her.
But you were at the rallies. You made phone calls. You helped me canvass.
I know. That was the plan, but when I got into the voting booth, I couldn't do it.
How could you be so unfaithful?
Look, I didn't cheat on you. I mean, it was a presidential vote, not a marriage.
Worse!
And who's the one trying to turn people unfaithful?
Faithless! There's a difference.
Please.
Do not touch me.
Do you want to know who I voted for?
No! Yes! I don't know.
Gates.
Gates. Gates who?
Bill Gates. I wrote in Bill Gates' name.
Why would you vote for Bill Gates?
Ben spent the first half of his life becoming the richest person in the world. Now he's spending the second half giving most of it away. You wouldn't want that as a president?
He doesn't want the job.
Well, which might be the best reason to have it.
You threw away your vote.
I did not throw away my vote. It might be the first time I voted for someone rather than against someone. I want us to be close again. I have needs. We haven't made love since before the election.
You want me to fulfill your needs after you tell me you didn't vote for Hillary? I have absolutely no desire for you right now. Especially after you cheated on my candidate.
I did not cheat on Hillary Clinton. You can't let a presidential election kill our love life.
I can't make love right now.
Why not?
Because I have this anger.
That's okay. I can take angry sex. Okay?
Very angry.
You're mad at Republicans, mad at conservatives? Take it out on me.
It's not just Republicans or conservatives.
Who then?
Men! I'm mad at men. Men who voted for him. Men who didn't vote for her.
Deborah, you can't be mad at half the human race.
I'm not the only woman that feels this way. Plenty of women I know feel this way. They don't want anything to do with sex after the election.
Deborah, we don't have another presidential election until 2020.
You should have thought of that before you voted for Mr. Microsoft.
I want to start fair.
I'm not bringing a child into this world, into this country, after it just elected that man.
You want to defeat them, Deborah. We've got to out multiply.
I thought having a baby to win an election in 20 years. This is so much bigger than our selfish need to have a baby that's not selfish.
It's the one thing that might get us through all this. Give us some hope, something to fight for.
I can sign up a hell of a lot more people than I can to vote than I can make children.
If you don't want to have a baby with me, just say it.
When we first met, I let you know the things that drove me. I was completely upfront.
And I loved you for it, but I can't keep doing this. I want a life. This is not a life.
Cell phone rings. It's Deborah's. She pulls it out.
Hello? Yeah? Where? Oh, that's good. You're from Idaho, a red state.
Deborah, we were talking.
Yes. She's what? 19 years old? She's voted once in her life, and she's now an elector in the electoral college? I mean, how does that happen?
Deborah, we were talking. Hang up.
Let me call you back. You did not have to do that.
You're risking our marriage over flipping an electoral college elector? I get it. You have every right to release it. People who carry this much anger inside them end up with cancer. I miss you. I want you. I want us. We're losing us.
Please, Hector,
We're so tense. Don't you feel this?
Yes, I can feel it.
Hector starts to massage Deborah's shoulders.
You need my massage, say so.
That does feel good. Okay. Let's do it there. And on that spot.
Let's go upstairs. Get away from him.
Feel this anger.
I don't think, boy.
Freaking they hurt you.
That he can sign a waiver if you want.
We're almost ready to eat dinner.
We can be fast.
I can't promise any.
No promises. We just start off with a massage. A deep, penetrating massage.
I feel like I'm going to explode.
I know. These last 2 weeks have been hell on America.
No, I can't.
What's the matter now?
You voted for Bill Gates?
I'm sorry. It was a mistake. It was my mistake. I was weak. I promise I will never be unfaithful again like that.
If I'm Betty Cloud, would you let me make the rest of my calls for Hillary?
That sounds so perverted.
Nope.
It's politics.
Okay. Deal.
Where?
Your bedroom.
You want to have sex in my child's bedroom? I like that. My father wouldn't.
I'll be quiet. Let's make love, and then you can flip the whole electoral college for all I care.
Hector leads Deborah upstage and all. Arthur and Malik with hand wrapped in gauze and...
Sarah's never gonna forgive me for this. It wasn't your fault. It was me. I took my eye off the bird.
We should have gone with an electric car, though.
I might be missing my whole finger at that point.
I remember one summer when I was young, I worked in construction. Unbelievable. Guys missing fingers, pinkies, indexes, toes. No big thing to them. They'd compare their missing digits like it was some badge of honor.
What kind of men are proud of missing fingers?
Guarantee you Hillary didn't get any of their vote. That was the summer I committed to making my life with my brain, not my hands.
Same for me. One summer in a factory and I knew I had to stay in college. It's hard work.
My brother worked in a factory all his life. There wasn't a day gone by he didn't complain about working there. But when they closed the factory, all he could talk about was how good that factory was.
He missed the factory?
I think most of all, he missed making a product he could hold in his hands. Something real, tangible. Now he's a night shift manager at McDonald's. It's not the same. He's never been the same. Men all across this land just like him. A forgotten generation. That is, until 2 weeks ago. And he missed the people. They were like family. It's a special group of people.
Robert enters from opposite side off stage.
Hey,
What's the score down there?
Lions are running true to form. Vikings kicked a field goal. It's tied 10-10. It's over.
They don't have any chance?
About as much chance as Hillary has of winning the Electoral College.
Don't say that. Deborah, your mother hears that, they'll blame me for it. What was that?
What?
That, from above, directly above.
Deborah's room?
Where's Deborah?
With Hector last time I saw.
Is that what I'm hearing? Are Deborah and Hector...
Loosen up, Dad. They're married.
I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with my children having sex in my house. Especially in their childhood bedroom. Is nothing sacred anymore?
My father feels the same way.
Don't you and Sarah think?
No, sir. Your house, your rules.
Now that's exactly why I don't want my children to have sex in my house.
I suspected Hector was good. Latin and everything. I had no idea.
Stop! I do not need those images in my head.
Arthur!
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Why do you say it? She used my full name. Arthur. She only uses the full name when I'm in trouble. And that special tone.
Arthur!
That one.
Deborah, wrapped in haphazardly hanging clothes, bursts into the room with the Trump pence and Make America Great signs as Hector follows.
What the hell are these?
You weren't supposed to see those.
You want Donald Trump in my childhood bedroom?
He was under the bed. What were you doing under the bed?
You know what you were doing on top of the bed.
No, you don't. My husband was giving me a massage.
Right.
Hector?
My fingers are a gift from God.
Are you available without appointment? Because I have this knot in my neck.
Buzz off, Robert.
So if you were getting a massage, how did you find them?
One of my earrings fell off under the bed, and I went to get it, and these were in plain sight.
They were not in plain sight. They were hidden under the bed.
Arthur!
You're in trouble. What did you do now?
Wish me luck, gentlemen.
While you're at it, you can get rid of these.
I am not getting rid of them. They're souvenirs.
Like hell they are.
Deborah takes the signs, picks them up, violently smashes them, breaks them apart.
What the hell are you doing? Stop!
Deborah, stop.
This is what I think of your choice to lead the country.
2 of those signs came from Merle and Fred next door.
They're eliminating them. The election's over.
You should be ashamed of yourself, young woman.
Arthur!
Better go, Dad.
Arthur, deeply disappointed, exits to the kitchen.
Now that I think about it, Sarah does the same thing to me.
What?
Uses my full name when I'm in trouble. My mother did the same thing too. Malik. Not Mal. Not Mali. Malik.
Deborah does the same thing to me.
I do not.
Yes, you do. Just like my mother, too. Hector, is this genetic or something? You're taught in an early age?
I need to go lie down before 10.
To finish what you started, that bit about the massage, fast thinking.
Robert, bug off.
Great to be home with you too, sis.
Are you coming?
In a minute.
I want to go now.
I said, in a minute.
Deborah exits. Beth enters with Arthur.
We'll be ready to start dinner shortly.
What about our lions?
Finish your game, then dinner.
Beth sees the broken Trump election material on the ground.
What are those doing there? Arthur, I told you to hide those signs.
I did, under the bed, like you said.
Then what are they doing down here?
Deborah found them and had a meltdown.
How did she find them?
Hector, would you care to elaborate?
Sound of a cell phone. Arthur takes out his phone. He answers the call.
Hello. Oh, hey, Jim. Happy Thanksgiving to you. What? No. Oh, damn. When? Any witnesses? Okay, I can be there. 15 minutes good? Okay. Heading over.
What's wrong, dear?
I've got to go over to the school.
What about dinner?
You could start without me.
We'll wait.
No. This may take longer than I'd like. I'm sorry. Just leave me some dark meat.
All depends on how the white meat comes out, Dad.
Stop that, for you won't get anything, young man.
I'm sorry, everyone. Please, enjoy the dinner.
Just get back as fast as you can.
Arthur exits towards kitchen. Bev looks at the destroyed signs. My word.
Look at those. And we haven't even started dinner. We should have gone to a restaurant. Everybody would have had to have been on good behavior. Election year 2020, I am canceling Thanksgiving.
Blackout. End of Act 1.
So we're going to take a 10-minute break in between acts. And we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
Act 2, Scene 1. After Thanksgiving dinner. Living room. Deborah, by herself, paces, cell phone in hand.
Okay, this elector, what's his name? Joseph Young.
What?
Jams part-time for Uber and he's a grad student? How does a part-time Uber driver / grad student become someone choosing the most powerful person on the planet? Really? Is that easy? Does anybody realize this? Whatever. Do you know if he's home right now? I know it's Thanksgiving. They'll be honored that we wanted to call him on this day. Text me his number. Okay, I got it. Thanks. I'll call you later.
Punches in number on her cell phone as Hector walks in.
Hello? Is this Joseph? Hi! Happy Thanksgiving! Well, my name is Deborah Harmon Gonzalez. I was calling on behalf of the sons and daughters of Alexander Hamilton. What? No, I'm not a real descendant of Alexander Hamilton. A descendant in spirit. Did I see Hamilton the musical? Best musical I've ever seen. Hip hop and the founding fathers. Who would have thought? Yes, I know it's Thanksgiving. And I give thanks that you are making time for me. Oh, I only have 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes it is. What? You've received 10,000 letters. Well, you are one of the 538 most important people in America right now. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Deborah nods for Hector to leave, but Hector shrugs her off.
So, Joseph, I received information that you're having second thoughts about your vote on December 19th. What? Your state has a law about breaking your pledge to vote for the winner? May I remind you that the Electoral College is under federal jurisdiction. What's that? A penalty in your state if you switch? $1,000? Oh, terrible. That's just to intimidate you. Trust me, Joseph, you'll never have to pay it. Would we pay your fine if it came to it? I'd have to get back to you on that. What I can tell you is that there has never been an elector who has ever been prosecuted or fined for voting for someone other than who they were originally pledged to. You took an oath to God. Okay, let me ask you. Who do you think that Jesus would cast his vote for before an elector here? Bernie Sanders! You think Jesus would have voted for Bernie? I agree. If Hillary had picked Bernie as her running mate, she'd be president today. But she didn't, and we are left with this man from the dark side. And my Star Wars fan. Who isn't? So, Joseph, if you stand up and vote your conscience on December 19th, you can prevent this Darth Vader from riding into Washington, D.C. this January. No, I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary, although I can tell you that if any of your alternatives don't measure up, I can assure you that you would not regret Hillary as a fallback vote. Oh, is that already 5 minutes? That went fast. Enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner, too. And for America, make Alexander Hamilton proud of you. Don't throw away your shots.
Deborah ends call.
I agree if Hillary had picked Bernie to be her running mate, she'd be president today. You're not a Star Wars fan. You hate Star Wars.
I was trying to find common ground.
And you hate Bernie Sanders even more.
He's going faithless. I can feel it.
Stop. Deborah, stop.
I thought we had an agreement earlier.
It was never consummated. It's over. Deborah, I'm through. I can't do this anymore.
Okay. No more electoral college elector calls today.
And tomorrow. Black Friday, no calls. All weekend long, no calls. That's what I thought. I'm through. I want out of this.
Hector, he's not here. Not this weekend. When we get back to New York, we'll talk.
Bev enters, along with Robert, followed by Malik and Sarah.
I'm so full. Great job, Mom, as always.
The meat wasn't too dry.
It was great, especially the white meat.
Liar.
It was delicious. And the stuffing, I could eat the stuffing all by itself. Hello.
Oh, good. Your father's back. In here, dear. Arthur Harmon.
You missed a great dinner, Dad.
I saved you a plate with dark meat.
I wanted it, but Mom said it was yours.
Let me get your plate.
I'm not that hungry.
Did you hear, Dad? The Lions won.
No, don't play with me.
No, on the level. You weren't listening?
I was busy.
Lions were down by 3 with 3 minutes to go. You could have stuck a fork in them. They were done. Vikings had the ball, but then turned it over. Lions drove down the field, kicked a field goal to tie it with under 2 minutes to go. Next series, the Lions intercepted Bradford with 30 seconds to go, and with no time left, kicked another field goal to win it all. Well, don't do cartwheels all at once.
Dad? Are you all right? Sweetheart? What's the matter?
At the school. It was vandalized. Spray painted.
That's happened before.
That was swastikas.
What?
They spray painted swastikas on some of the outside walls.
They'll wash them off. Make like it was never there before.
Mother,
What?
can't erase something like that. Pretend like it never happened. It happened. It's begun.
There were also 2 ropes. Nooses. Hanging from 2 trees by the front entrance.
We okay, man?
I'm sorry, Malik. This is not what I wanted you to see or hear about coming back.
Nothing surprises me at this point.
See what your votes got you, Dad?
You and the father have nothing to do with this.
Right. You're all innocent. Didn't bring any of this on yourselves.
Your father is as upset as anyone. It is his school.
It's my school too, Mother. The high school I went to.
Do they have any idea who?
Students.
How do they know?
School security cameras. We have more security cameras in our school than a bank has.
Don't forget the metal detectors.
Enough, Deborah. You made your point, sweetheart. You can't let a couple of
Two of those bad eggs were my students. Students I am entrusted with.
You're not responsible.
No, they sit in the front rows, always polite. I know their parents. Good people.
Could people raising little neo-Nazis and Ku Klux Klan members?
Or just a bunch of hormonally charged kids being stupid.
Don't scapegoat them. This is how evil starts.
They're not evil. They're 16 years old.
But you're so naive. You ever wonder why I left here?
Deborah, you apologize to your father right now.
Apologize? You were ready to wash it off, Mother. Pretend like it never happened. Why can't any of you see it?
Lighten up, Deborah. It's Thanksgiving.
You're gay, Roberts, but you choose to be part of a party that wants to extinguish you, erase you. They would just as soon as see you dead, but you choose to align with homophobes and haters. But I should never have come back here.
Next time, do us all a favor and don't.
Would anyone like a piece of my secret recipe homemade pumpkin pie?
I would like a piece of your homemade pie.
Thank you, Hector. You get an extra large slice. Now, for the rest of you, and for the rest of the day, I don't want to hear any more politics. Is that understood? No one is getting any of my family trade secret, the pumpkin pie. So, for those of you who would like to try my To Die For Thanksgiving special, raise your hands.
Blackout. Act 2, Scene 2, Thanksgiving dessert. Living room, a short while later. All are gathered around with forks, plates, and pie.
This is such a good pie. You are a magician. You need to get Rusty for this.
She won't give it. That's how she keeps us coming back every year.
So,
So,
what do you think of our lines now? Can you smell it?
Smell what, dear?
The scent of winning. We're going to be going to the Super Bowl.
But you said earlier.
This year is different. I never stopped believing. Super Bowl, here we come.
I like football, especially Super Bowl Sunday. Such great food. The halftime show.
Who's headlining the halftime show this year?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, great! I like her. Get ready for ice fishing season now.
Oh, yeah. Best part of my winter.
Do you still go out with him getting or not? No. The magic of sitting on a frozen lake all day has lost its allure for me.
Think you'll have a white Christmas this year?
It would be nice.
Lots of great memories there.
You still get snow here with global warming?
Deborah. Out. I want another piece of pie.
You get to golf much this past summer, Dad?
Not a single round.
But you used to love it.
Your father's thinking about giving up golf.
And Dad?
I just came to the realization that if Tiger Woods can never be satisfied with his golf game, always changing his golf swing, what am I doing out there?
I'm not complaining. Your father now goes shopping with me more. Isn't that right, dear?
I was hunting this year, Dad. Finally get a deer?
No.
How many years is it since you're gone?
Your father is a deer's best friend. I keep telling him to get his eyes checked.
Okay. Enough about Bambi and my declining eyesight.
Dad, I can't take this!
What's the matter now, dear?
All this Midwest mundane, relevant chatter. We have to be able to talk about politics.
But it gets you all so crazy.
Ah, hell, Deb. This whole life is politics. Taxes, healthcare, retirement, the air we breathe. The water we drink is all politics.
We all say we're sick about politics, but we can't stop talking about it. This country doesn't work anymore. Everything is broken. The whole thing. Nothing works.
Person, I'm amazed that so much out there works.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Planes rarely crash. Nuclear power plants don't turn us into microwave leftovers. Traffic lights, fire alarms, energy and power grids crisscrossing, food production, water treatment plants, bridges, tunnels. These millions, billions, trillions of moving parts that somehow keep humming along, working together. I'm in awe that we're not one big erector set crashing down on ourselves all the time. So much to manage, synchronize, but somehow we keep it going. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Challenged, but not broken. Do you really think one man can come along and upset all that?
I wonder how it would have been if a woman had been chosen to run the country.
You ask that now, Mother?
Well, just because I didn't vote for Hillary does not mean I do not want to see a woman lead this country. I just didn't want to see that woman. I wanted change, but nothing seemed to change.
And you think some old white man is going to change things?
You have no one to blame but yourselves for Hillary losing.
Well, we're the ones to blame.
Hillary lost her own female vote. That was the difference.
White female vote. Our sisters had her back.
It was the men, no deaf. It was us. I've seen the numbers. All the white suburban women and soccer moms who voted for him over her. We're worse than the white men. Soccer moms, I hate them all.
I was a soccer mom. Went to all your games, and I was very proud to be there.
If Election Day taught us one thing, we're still a fatherland.
Maybe out there, but inside this house, it's still a motherland.
Thank you, dear.
I may wear the pants in this family, but your mother picks out which ones every morning.
It's only because you are colorblind, dear.
Not colorblind, color challenged. I see colors too, just like your colors.
I want to know is how can you not see through all of them?
Who's them? Hillary's deplorables?
It wasn't her best choice of words.
She lost any chance of my vote when she said that.
You don't think any of these people are deplorable?
What kind of way is that to describe people? No matter how much you disagree with them.
Can we get back to ice fishing?
Dad, you're a teacher, a highly educated, thoughtful man. You're nothing like them.
You think my education should preclude me from aligning with those people? We know how you refer to people who don't align with your beliefs. They're morons, rednecks, sheep.
I'm sorry, but if you listen to some of those people being interviewed, they sound like idiots.
Or pie, anyone?
You don't want this bully in the White House, but you have no problem bullying and demeaning their intellect for not voting for who you think they should vote for. So you brand them idiots.
They are! Listen to them! America is becoming unbelievably stupid.
Don't be shy. I have plenty of pie.
Enough with the comfort food, Bev. Call these people many things, but do not call them stupid. Do you have any idea how unbelievably insulting that is? These people might not be Ivy League material, but they're a lot more intellect than you give them credit for. If there's anyone to blame for the current intellectual of this state of this country, it's you liberal progressives who have dumbed down this entire country.
We have not dumbed down this country. If anything, we're trying to raise it up.
It's not conservatives running the education system. It's all your cultural and educational liberals and progressives who decided there was a better way to teach people. Let's not educate them. Let's develop them. Make the child the center of our teaching. Not basic information, facts, history, secondary. Let's not teach them. Let's teach them to teach themselves. And what do we have after all those decades of this progressive agenda? A nation of people who can sure think for themselves. Listen to all the talk radio shows. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone thinks they're an expert. But ask those same people to recite the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. They can't name 5. Over half of high school seniors cannot name the 3 branches of government. 1/3 can't even name the current vice president. More than half think Germany, Japan, and Italy were U.S. allies in the Second World War. God forbid we ever start to impose a civics test for citizenship for everyone.
The only ones passing will be the immigrants.
You got that right. The immigrant kids are the stars of my classes.
Would anyone like a coffee?
No coffee, Mother. No caffeine. The last thing we want is caffeine.
We are supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but our education system is a disgrace. I can't believe some of the students I get in my classroom. If I could, I'd fail half of them all the way back to 5th grade. But we can't fail them. We can't hold the child accountable. We can't hold them back a year. We have to protect their self-esteem. Now, we can't even correct them anymore with a red pen. It'll be too demoralizing for their fragile psyches. I have worked all my life alongside your people, and don't think it has been easy. And now this Common Core, good God. They couldn't leave alone what was working. These education elites think to justify having their job, they have to change things, reinvent the wheel. The wheel was working. Ask a kid today to pass a 9th grade high school test from the 1930s, and not 5 out of 100 could pass it. But those past generations did.
They don't call it the greatest generation for nothing.
Those non-higher learning people who got you so readily who you so readily dismissed built this country. The dams, the bridges, the highways got us through the Great Depression, defeated the most evil man in history, went to the moon. When you asked how could an educated, diverse person vote for this president-elect, ask yourself, why would a lesser educated person vote for some think-she-knows-it-all Democrat? When you're out there marching in the streets and chanting, "Not my president," refusing to recognize him, you're also refusing to recognize 60 million of us. And as if your vote was more credible than ours. As if your vote and voice has more value and legitimacy than ours. 2 weeks ago, people who felt ignored and forgotten for so long finally rose up and said, "My vote counts." They may be morons and idiots, but right now, you're standing in their red state.
Then don't think I'm not ashamed of it.
I have a lovely crumb cake if anyone is interested.
Stop with the sweet, Bev. You're ashamed to have come from here. You grew up with all these God-fearing people, and because they happen to not vote the way you thought they should vote, does not make them bad people. They're good, hard-working people doing the best they can to put food on the table, a roof over their heads, and provide for the people they love. They see you openly mock and deride their intelligence. You wonder why they're angry? You think when we vote opposite to you, we're trying to hurt you? We're not even thinking about you. We're voting for ourselves, our families, our values, our needs. Every morning I wake up, I ask myself, what good can I achieve today? Other than trying to cancel us out, or some electoral college elector, what good have you done recently, Deborah?
Sound of a house phone.
I'll get it.
Robert Benzes.
You couldn't agree to disagree for one day?
I don't want to agree to disagree anymore. If I disagree, I want to disagree.
Hell, that's one thing we can agree on. Robert enters with portable house.
It's for you, Dad. Merle, next door.
Hello, Earl. Happy Thanksgiving to you and Miriam. What? Your Trump signs are missing? Mine too. Hold on. Well, I'll be damned. Mine are gone too. You want to report it to the police? It's Thanksgiving, Merle. Our guy won. That's the important thing, right? You got it. Make America great again. Hooah!
Hangs up.
Never say a word about those signs under penalty of death. I voted for him.
What?
I voted for the Twitter freak.
It's not funny.
I'm not trying to be funny. I voted for him.
This gives a whole new definition to sleeping with the enemy.
I'm divorcing this family. Legally, permanently divorcing this whole family. We were supposed to vote for Hillary, the Democrat.
I split my ticket.
Democrats don't split tickets. That's for independents and Republicans.
But I'm not a registered Democrat.
Well, you're certainly not a Republican.
Neither was Donald Trump until he decided to run. Donald Trump is a gift to us.
Oh my God, I'm having a child with you? What did you say to her? Do you have something to announce?
Is our baby girl having a baby?
We're having a future lefty.
Yes, we're going to be grandparents.
I'm going to be an uncle. Uncle Bob or Rob or Bobby. They're all good. Way to go, sis.
All rush to congratulate and hug Sarah and Malik. Hector looks at Deborah as they share a sight.
Back to you. Did you have a brain seizure inside the voting booth? Bernie asked us to vote for Hillary.
I voted for her. Hector voted for her.
Actually, I didn't. I didn't vote for Hillary either.
I thought we were all supposed to hold our noses and vote for Hillary.
Right, I did hold my nose, but I couldn't get rid of the stage.
I love this. No wonder you people didn't win.
Who did you vote for? You don't want to know.
Donald Trump is the best thing that's ever happened to America.
Lost your mind?
Think about it. If this attention deficit, socially disrupting, sleep-ordered insomniac can stay true to his self-absorbed, itchy Twitter finger, he's going to blow it all up.
The Republican Party?
And the Democrats. The two-party system. America. Selfish, sexist, racist, rapacious, two-faced, hustling, bully boy America that stole this country from its original native inhabitants.
Are we never going to be off the hook for that?
Not to give them back all the land you stole.
That's never going to happen.
Then keep planning to hear about it. And what's it all been for? Destroy not one race, but two races for what? Money. Money, money, money. And are we any happier? Not even close. Half the country is fat and miserable, while the other half's on food assistance and painkillers. We need to blow it all up and start over. Blow it up, Donald. Blow it all up. Then we'll get the chance we really need. America's second revolution.
Malik, please tell me you are not putting any of this out on social media.
We have been living through centuries of denial. Denial of who we are. Donald Trump didn't arrive out of nowhere. We created him. Donald Trump is us. We are Donald Trump. Not a person, a machine.
What machine is that?
The American money machine. The soul-crushing system of free enterprise and capitalist oligarchs devouring everything in their way to maximize profits, power, and patriarchy.
All pause to study Malik.
I'm not going to work tonight.
Hold on there, dear.
It's a Thanksgiving. Screw Jerry and the happy hairdresser.
You can lose your health insurance.
I'll survive. There's nothing Jerry can do to me that could be worse than what I endured on that operating table. Down with Jerry and the money machine. They're looking at Mom like a civil revolutionary. I know revolutionary. I'm just pent up, pissed off broad.
Beverly Harmon.
Down with the patriarchy.
Whoa there. Can't review without replace.
You're looking at the replacement. I didn't vote for him.
What?
I didn't vote for him. I voted for her. Mother, I love you. I love you so much after all. Not so fast, dear.
Well, you said you voted for her.
The other her.
What other her?
No, That nice green card was leading candidate, Jill Stein.
You voted for the Green candidate?
You're not concerned about the environment?
Well, you voted for a candidate who got 0.5% of the votes?
She has the nicest white hair. She doesn't color it. She leaves it white. As a hairdresser who colors women's hair all day long to hide who they really are, I thought, I can trust this person who doesn't color her hair.
Mother, you can't pick the President of the United States based on whether they color their hair or not.
Why not? Why not? Have you ever seen a man of Donald Trump's age with shimmering gold hair like he has? But maybe. But not then.
Jill Stein had no chance of winning.
I don't vote to just be with the winners.
A Detroit Lions fan till the end.
You canceled out my vote.
I didn't cancel out your vote. Your vote got counted.
You canceled out my vote. Have you done this before?
Oh, let's not get into that right now.
I am married to a complete stranger. I don't even know who you are.
I didn't vote for him either. Had nothing to do with his hair color. But even it's his hair.
With all your Facebook posts of support, how could you not vote for him?
I realized that day where I lived my vote wasn't going to make a difference, so I went for the live and let live candidate.
Who is the live and let live candidate?
The Libertarian, Gary Johnson.
Third-party candidates. I hate them. They are completely screwing up our democracy.
What the hell happened to this family on election day?
Woolsters were polling the wrong people. They should have been polling his family.
Hector, we are moving to Canada. I don't care how much snow they get up there.
If you really want to change things, you should move to one of the red states.
Like, go live in a red state? Are you crazy?
Well, think about it. If you brought all of your blue-stained friends from New York and Massachusetts and California with you, those states have more blue votes than they know what to do with. You could invade all the red states and turn them loose. You don't need your
24.
That's our America.
Jazz. America's original music. Nothing beats New Orleans or Memphis.
I stand correct.
I'd never be able to survive the food. Fried chicken, fried fish, fried steak, fried vegetables.
Fried tacos.
Fried biscuits, fried gravy.
Oh, heart attack just waiting to happen.
Don't forget the barbecue, Kansas City burnt ends.
mesquite smoke twisted.
You're making my mouth water, girl. You keep your tofu and lentils. Give me Texas pulled pork and beef ribs every day.
We're not the United States of America. We're to America.
Fried food America versus salad bar America.
1% America versus 99% America.
Straight America versus Rainbow America.
White America versus non-white America.
Pro-choice America versus pro-life America.
Color your hair America versus go gray America.
Urban America versus rural America.
Immigrant America versus build the wall America.
Gun rights America versus gun control America.
My God, I never realized we were so divided.
Thank your founding fathers for all.
We could use them today.
They're the ones who started all this madness. Deeply flawed visionaries, morally compromised hypocrites, freedom lovers and slave owners, libertarians and sexist oppressors, God-worshipping all-time sinners, who in the excuse of building a nation cobbled together the great compromise that compromises America to this day with division and hatred for anyone who doesn't look like them.
It was a different time.
You don't get a free hall pass for racism and sexism because you lived in a racist and sexist era. History needs to stop wrapping these men up in this cotton candy mythology about their political genius and entitlement. All these founding fathers, Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Hamilton, I don't care how damn popular that musical is, were not gods of freedom and democracy. Not when they created this voting monstrosity called the Electoral College, where the one who gets less votes gets to be the winner.
They did that to protect the smaller states versus the bigger ones.
More mythology. The Electoral College was created to keep the black brothers and sisters chained and the cash flowing for all the cotton owners and plantation owners. These promoters of equality and freedom created a system where slaves were created 3/5 of a person, so the southern states could swell their population to maintain an electoral college advantage while keeping their free black labor force from ever voting. Today, when men in blue shoot an unarmed black man in the black 14 times, they're still seeing 3/5 of a person. We are not a fraction. We are 5/5 of a person. We are a whole number. This sacrosanct document we call the Constitution was written by men who bought and sold other human beings like they were farm animals. And 200 years later, we're expected to abide by their words? We need to take these damn Liberty Bell hypocrites off the Mount Olympus we put them on. Stop treating 1787 as some shining moment in time and start building an America for the 21st century that is not handcuffed to the past words of these corrupted forefathers as we start the real work to become a more perfect union that is truly equal and just and inclusionary. Not just words, in deed and action.
Ellie, I don't think I've ever heard you speak more in all the time I've known you.
I'm sorry, but this election's made me a little crazy.
You could go into politics. I'd vote for you.
I wonder why I fell in love with this man.
You heard that? You're all my witnesses.
That still doesn't let you off the hook for voting for him.
Blow it all up, Donald, you American white Jesus.
What did you call him? White Jesus?
Don't go there, Malik. This Thanksgiving, Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers were fair game to please leave Jesus out of Thanksgiving.
No, I want to hear this.
Malik, please.
The dad's a strong man. He can handle it.
Well, what?
Your white Jesus lie. That Jesus was a white man.
I agree with Sarah. I think we should change the subject immediately.
We're not changing any subject. You think Jesus was what?
He sure wasn't your Andrew Lloyd Webber Jesus Christ white superstar.
You think Jesus was what? Black?
Didn't say he was black. Just not your European weirded white boy we see up on the cross every Sunday who would have burned like toast standing under that Middle Eastern sun all day long. The man was a Jew from the Middle East. Your Jesus looked like he just stepped out of a British rock bed.
Can we talk about football? I don't even like football, but I'm talking about it right now.
Forget football. This is much bigger than football.
It's obvious. Jesus did not look like he looks today. At least not until Europeans remade him into their white colonialist image to take on the road to spread their Christian gospel as they pillaged and plundered non-white foreign lands across the globe.
Sarah, I love that you married this man.
I'm sorry. It's Thanksgiving and I'm a guest. I've said enough.
No. You don't get off that easy. So if Jesus wasn't white and he wasn't black, what color was he?
Mocha.
Mocha? Mocha Jesus.
Not sure we'll be seeing that at Starbucks anytime soon.
Mocha Jesus. I'll be damned.
I know. There's a lot of lies out there that we all grew up thinking were the truth.
Shall we catch the next football game on TV?
We need to help your mother clean up the kitchen.
If you go with them, dear, I'll handle it. You're dealing with a lot right now.
As you should. Down with our founding fathers and our white Lord and Savior.
It's a lot to absorb. Give it time.
Malik leads off Arthur upstage and off with Robert and Hector father.
Don't you ever lose that, Malik. He scares me a little bit, but he's a keeper. I should go clean up in the kitchen.
No, Mother, you've done enough today. I'll clean. You just relax.
Are you sure?
I can help you. No, you and Mom take some time together. I'll be fine. You really voted for Jill Stein?
Deborah?
I'm worried about you. I'll be fine, Mother. I've got my chump drug.
My daughter should not have to medicate herself every time there's a Republican in the White House. It was enough with George Bush. You can't go through this every 8 years.
Who are these men, Mother?
What men?
These men who have so much power. How do these men get so much power to make decisions for all of us? Decide our lives, change people's lives, people they will never know. It's like they can't see us. What will it take for them to see us?
I think they see us very well. And we scare the hell out of them.
What will it take to change things?
You know what your problem is? You feel too much. You take everything so personally. You feel for everyone in the world.
Empathy, your most beautiful quality.
But do it in moderation. You cannot make everyone else's problem your problem.
I see people suffering and I can't stop thinking about them.
Oh, what am I going to do with you?
Believed in her.
I know.
So close. We were so close.
I know.
When, Mother? When do we get to be in charge?
I don't know. But I do see it in my lifetime.
I love this country. I do. I know there's good here. But there's so much hate. But I'm becoming part of it. I hate the other side. I despise these people.
You need to focus on the good, dear. Do you ever pray?
Mother, you little...
I start every day with the Serenity Prayer. It makes a big difference. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
That's surrender, Mother. That's not serenity.
I don't feel I'm surrendering. Grant me the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I know the difference.
You mean? Living one day at a time. Enjoying one moment at a time.
Enough, Mother.
Don't do that.
What?
Dismiss me like that. My belief, my faith.
I'm sorry. I just don't...
Accepting hardships as a pathway to peace. Taking, as he did, this sinful world as it is. Not as I would have it.
Stop! Mother, just... stop! Words. Just feel good words to fool ourselves with.
Just words? When I had my operation, wondering if I was going to survive, lost both my breasts, no longer saw myself as a whole woman. Those feel-good words got me through it. Nothing this man from New York can do will ever match what I had to endure under the knife. This is supposed to be a day of thanks. But today I feel like I have failed. Failed you. You haven't failed me. My beautiful daughter seems incapable of feeling the emotion we most wanted to instill in you.
What's that?
Gratitude. Never underestimate the power of prayer, my dear. beyond your vote recounts and changing electors' votes, there might be the only thing left to any of us. But I don't believe. Not like you. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to. It's just a prayer. Let the words comfort you, nourish you, heal you. I need to help your sister.
I can help too.
No. Stay here. Relax. Reflect. Please. No more calling electors today. It's Thanksgiving.
Bev exits off stage. Deborah thinks, pulls out her phone, lights it up, does a search, finds what she's looking for. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living God, dear you and Hillary Clinton. Blackout. Act 2, Scene 3. Thanksgiving evening. Living room. Later. All are gathered, similar to before, with assorted drinks and Thanksgiving munchies, treats, snacking, indulgent.
Anybody want anything more? Pie? Cake? Homemade cookies?
This is one of the things we hate about Thanksgiving. All we do is eat and eat and eat.
Think of it as America's great food amnesty day to indulge your every guilty pleasure.
You're going to be doing a lot of guilty pleasure eating in the next 9 months.
It's already started.
I always got so big with each of you. This giant bump.
You were so beautiful.
Your father was so afraid of losing me. He started sympathy eating with me.
And after your mother had you, then lost the weight, I just kept getting bigger.
More of you to love.
We're going to be grandparents, my love. It's a good day. Best Thanksgiving we've ever had.
Or she may not look like you or us.
Oh, better looking?
You know what I mean.
Don't be so sure of that, sweetie. Your family's got some pretty strong genes. I might be the odd one out on all this.
We will love this child however it looks. Just as long as it doesn't have your father's ears.
What's the matter with my ears?
Oh, let's not go there, dear. It's Thanksgiving.
My ears are fine.
Those may have any number of your features, but please, not your ears.
My ears never seemed to bother you when I met you.
Because your other outstanding features sufficiently compensated.
Sufficiently covered. What the hell? Any child would be lucky to have my ears. Malik, tell the truth. Would you have a problem if your child had my ears? You weren't so tongue-tied when you were talking about the founding fathers blowing up the American money machine or both to Jesus. Come on, I can take it. We're family.
This baby can come out looking like Vanilla Ice, but it better not have your ears.
Well, I'll be damned. I like my ears.
As long as you're happy with them, that's what counts.
Even with my distinct ears, we will love this baby more than anything in the world.
Thanks, Dad. We know that. That we still prefer it doesn't have your ears.
Malik, I will admit when Sarah first brought you home to us, she told us about you before bringing you home. I thought I was open and ready for it, but I wasn't. I know that. I'm sorry.
He should have heard my father. What you want to go marry some white girl for? There's not enough fine sisters out there? You can't find some sweet chocolate to make you happy?
But I won them over.
Yes, you did. Now they wouldn't trade you for Beyonce.
Hey, if that was to get me to forgive you for voting for him, you're getting one of us.
From the time you become a parent, you ask yourself, how open will I be if my child is different? Chooses to be with someone of a different color, a different religion, and
Different sexual identity.
yes. Oh. We tell ourselves we'll be able to accept love unconditional. But when it happens, it takes some getting used to. I found my own children have bigger hearts than myself, more open, more accepting. If I ever hurt you, Malik, please accept my apologies.
We're good, sir.
Malik, I would want another man to be the father of my daughter's child.
Thank you.
Sir. Please stop calling me sir. Your parents raised you too well. Just call me Arthur or Art.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Arthur. It's the world out there that I worry about. Will they accept the two of you? Our grandchildren to be, will they be as free as me? I have a gay son. I didn't want it.
Oh, we know.
I always wanted you, Robert. I didn't want it for you because of what I felt you would have to endure. Being different in this country is not easy. It's hard. Very, very hard.
You have no idea.
The thought of any of my children or their children not being accepted or liked by people because of some difference about them makes me angry. Very angry.
You were a Democrat, Dad.
I am not a Democrat.
You're a Democrat.
Well, you were once, dear. Just like your hero, Ronald Reagan, was.
Now, there was a president.
And to think we almost named Debbie after him.
What?
Your father wanted to name you after Ronald Reagan. Reagan Harmon.
Why have I never known that?
It didn't happen. Relax.
You thought about naming me after the Republican who brought in all this conservatism?
But I didn't. Case closed.
Only because I put my foot down on that one. He was only a one-term president at that point. I thought, what if he lost his second term? So I made a deal with your father.
What kind of deal?
I got to name you after my grandmother. And your father got to name our next dog, Reagan.
That's how Reagan got his name?
Best darn dog I ever had. God, I miss that dog.
Reagan Harmon. It did have a ring to it.
How could you ever think such a thing? You would have scarred me for life.
Before he came along, America was in a very dark place.
And you don't think we're in a dark place now? This country was making such progress. Now it's slipping away.
Maybe things have been moving a little too fast for people, dear.
And not fast enough for others.
I think this November election was just a giant handbrake to slow things down a little. Give us all a moment to reflect on who we are, who we want to be. No offense to you, Malik or Hector, but I walk into a shopping mall in central Michigan here. It looks like the United Nations. So many different faces. Beautiful faces, but different faces. We're all starting to look so different from each other. All these new faces making newer faces every day. We don't see ourselves in these new faces. It's like a sea of strangers. We look back, we can see ourselves. But when we look forward, it's like we're... And now we're the strangers. Everything is changing so fast. 10 years ago, did any of you see people of the same sex being able to marry?
Not even. I saw that one coming.
I'm sorry. But marriage to me is between a man and a woman, and I'm tired of having to apologize for feeling this way. Now women can serve in the military and die in combat. I grew up with the idea that going into battle was for men to protect the women, not put them in the line of fire. And now I turn on the TV and I see women in a boxing ring kicking and punching each other. women punching each other in the face. How do we get to that?
I don't understand that myself.
It's called equality.
Huh. If that's equality, you can keep it. I want to be open, but some of this is taking some time to get used to. I'm sorry if it's politically incorrect, but where is my America? Where is the America I grew up in? I don't recognize it anymore. People just want to protect what they have known. You wonder why people want to go back to a simpler time? We keep being asked to be more tolerant and open and accepting. Well, when does it end?
You need to make more babies.
What, Hector?
You let your fertility rate get too low. People complain about all the immigrants, but if you had more babies, you wouldn't have needed immigrants to keep the economy moving, and you could have all stayed looking more like each other.
I'm sorry, Hector. I didn't phrase that the best.
No, you couldn't have said it better. It was honest. Something missing from most conversations. We're all trying to be so politically correct, not hurt each other's feelings. I'd rather have honesty that hurts than all this political correctness.
Well, we made our contribution. 3 beautiful, completely different children.
I want to contribute too, but Deborah doesn't. Bring a child into this world.
Hector, please.
We're a luxe family.
You don't want to get into this right now.
Well, it's so expensive nowadays to have children. Everyone has to work. God forbid one of you loses your job.
One income earner per family. That's an America I wouldn't mind returning to.
You mean keeping women down?
I wasn't doing it to keep your mother down. It used to be a source of pride for a man to take care of his family. Having a mother to watch over the children, not some underpaid, stressed out daycare worker. And why was it the mother? Because they're better at it.
That's so sexist.
Well, it's true, dear.
I'm glad.
I was better at it than your father. God knows how we would have all turned out if we'd switched roles. Staying home after you kids were born were some of the best years of my life. That is, until I started going a little crazy. Remember that, dear?
Like it was yesterday.
I liked working, having my own money. Not dependent. No offense, dear. None to you.
I never imagined we'd be starting a family while we're still paying our student loans.
If you need some help. No, sir. Arthur, we're fine.
We went to college to get ahead, and now we have over $100,000 in debt, and we're not sure we'll ever be able to buy our own home.
They're not colleges anymore. They're businesses. And the education cartel. Over in Ann Arbor, they're paying that Jim Harbaugh $5 million a year to coach football. Not a teacher, a coach. At an institution of higher learning. They're paying a sports coach $5 million. What the hell does that teach?
Capitalism, Dad. It teaches capitalism.
All we ever wanted for you children was for you to go further than us. The American dream.
The American dream is dead, Dad.
When the hell did that happen? How the hell did that happen? How did this country get to be so damned expensive?
You're not a Democrat, Dad. You're a socialist.
I am not a socialist.
Democratic socialist.
I am not a democratic socialist.
You're not a Republican.
Whatever I am. Would someone please tell me what the hell is happening to this country?
Sound of cell phone ring.
Oh, that's me. Hello? Oh, hi, Jerry. Well, where am I? I'm at home with my family. Oh, maybe you forgot. It's Thanksgiving. Oh, yes, I know we're supposed to be opening tonight, and I'm the one who has the keys. Where are you, Jerry? Oh, that's nice. In the warm confines of your home, the one which I and the rest of the girls have been helping to pay for the last 10 years. Well, there's no problem, Jerry. I just decided I'm not working anymore on Thanksgiving. It is a federal holiday, you know. Easy there, Jerry. You're a born-again Christian. Jesus with brow on that sort of language. Jerry, the ladies of Jackson, Michigan will survive without the Happy Hairdresser being open on Thanksgiving night. Well, Jerry, that would be your decision. But I remind you that all decisions have consequences, and if you were to decide that, I will have a line of pickets outside your pay-under-the-counter establishment. Now, if you want to sell a few extra bottles of L'Oreal tonight, I suggest you get your Grecian formula ass down to the salon and be the one to explain it to your family while you're not home with them on Thanksgiving night. Good night, Jerry. God bless. And give my love to Liz.
I don't think I've ever been prouder of you, Mother.
Bolshevik Bev. I am not a Bolshevik. I'm sorry. Where were we?
Dad wanted to know what the hell is happening to this country.
I just wish, with all our differences, we could still find a way to get along.
My father voted for a man for president who spoke openly about groping and grabbing women. How am I supposed to get along with that?
You can't take everything the man says so literally. I'm sure he doesn't believe half the things he says.
So what are we supposed to believe?
Well, we've actually always believed. We believe what we want to believe.
But what about the truth?
The truth. I watch Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I want to be balanced. I watch them until my eyes are red and I'm no nearer to the truth than when I start.
What do we have if there's no truth?
Each other. We have each other.
We're not the enemy.
We never said you were.
We know we're your dirty little family secret.
You're not our dirty little family secret.
How many of your friends know about your conservative Bible-reading Republican parents with the Trump lawn signs?
It's true.
We're embarrassed and ashamed.
Fine, some truth.
I'm not embarrassed. I looked and I listened.
We know some of you didn't want to come back here today because of how you think we vote. But if this election meant so much to you, why didn't you call us, lobby us, share some greater truth escaping our small Midwestern minds to change our vote?
How could you not see it? It was so obvious.
That's just it. None of it is obvious. It's very complicated, and the best brains in all of America spend all their waking hours trying to figure it out, and they can't get it right.
We were waiting for you, especially this year. When you didn't come and fight for our votes, we were disappointed. As if our votes were not worth your effort.
Would it really have changed things?
You could have tried. Better than holding us in contempt with all that's wrong in this country.
We don't hold you in contempt.
Yes, we do.
Okay, a little bit.
Not a little bit, a lot.
You're right. Something is off in this country, not working. Everything seems so uncertain. We live in the richest, most abundant nation on earth, but so many of us are so fearful and angry. And this meanness. We've all become so mean to each other. We proclaim our love, but we proclaim we love America, but we no longer like each other. Talk about each other with respect. We're losing our sense of decency. How did that happen? When did that happen? In the end, maybe I'm with Malik. Blow it all up and start over.
Wow. My parents, Bolshevik Bev and anarchist Arthur?
There are so many people out there telling us what to believe, how to think, how to act. Politicians, pundits, priests, preachers. We've all become so preoccupied listening to these voices, we've lost our own voices. We no longer know how to talk to each other as a country, as a family. No one talks to each other anymore. Everyone writes each other, texting, tweeting, messages. We write and read each other, and we think we're talking to each other. We're not. We need to stop listening to all those voices out there. Stop typing and start listening to each other. Have a conversation, not win a conversation. Everyone wants to win the conversation. It's not about winning. It's about hearing each other. In the end, our truth together, our conversations here are the ones that will matter the most. You want truth? We could find more truth together here than we'll ever find out there. Find out what separates us, but also what holds us together, what we have in common. You may dislike Ronald Reagan, but did you know he was the one who said, all great change in America starts at the dinner table?
Ronald Reagan said that?
Yeah, the man you were spared being named after. You want to win hearts and mind? It's not out there. It's right across the dinner table. What they can't get done in Washington, can we get done as a family? Right here, right now? Talk and listen. Listen and talk.
Abed.
So nice.
Tell me it too.
Me too. But I'm still going to watch tackle football if I want to.
Neanderthal. Fine. I'm in. Arthur pulls out a piece of paper.
I have something I wanted to read to you earlier at dinner, but I was taken away.
What's that, Dad?
Abraham Lincoln's proclamation declaring Thanksgiving a national holiday.
Do we really?
I'd like to hear this.
I'll edit it a bit. The year that is drawing toward its close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. Blah, 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 blah. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity, which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and to provoke their aggression,
I'm sure this is from the 1860s.
I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father dwelleth in the heavens, blah, 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 blah.
You might be the first person to ever blah, blah, blah the words of Abraham Lincoln.
Least, let your father finish.
With humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty Hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purposes to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union.
That sure reads 140 characters.
I have a special pecan pie, and not a secret recipe. Would anybody like some? Good. Then we can keep talking to each other.
And listening.
And listening.
And eating.
No one's forcing you.
I'm sorry about your Trump signs. That was wrong. I was wrong.
Thank you. Just make sure Merle or Fred never find out.
You really feel like you're disappearing?
Yes. Yes.
Reagan, Hartman?
It didn't happen. Move on. So, who wants to begin? Or continue?
End of play.
Tim, you want to come up here and join us? Time's right. I'm going to bring the house lights up a little bit so we can see you all better. Enter forward. And then I'm jacket. Beautiful.
Being, I know, I need to look at being.
So, any questions to the group or anyone?
We've written the 2016 after. Does it still resonate? Have it been put? Does it? And does I wonder? Sometimes I'm wondering if does it resonate more? It's what we've seen come to pass. But I know. So, share any of you have thoughts or questions?
What did you like? What did you not like? What didn't make sense?
Anything.
Tim, you cover so much territory. Yeah, first of all, better make the decision what stays, what goes, as we're in the process of creating this, because there are a million perspectives out there.
Right. Yeah. Just having to be a little bit ruthless with my own words and just deciding that is it moving the story forward? Is it will it drive the action? Will it drive the characters? And where it's not, then it has to go. So it's really about is it driving the characters, even the soliloquies when they're off on it. If it's not going to get a reaction from those other characters, then it's not working. It has to drive the other characters, bring them back in. And as you saw when Malik read his and they started clapping, that's not a stage direction. That just came out. But it was fun to see that the actors just went there, but the idea was that they were like, who is this Malik? Because he's been the quiet son-in-law, and all of a sudden he just flowered for this. And as he said, sorry, this selection's making me a little crazy. But stands for that. Yeah.
Yes, or excuse me, in terms of relevancy, I think the answer to that is a resounding yes. And I think it's going to continue to be very relevant for a whole lot of reasons, but particularly because of the 2024 election. And we still have so much polarization.
Right.
And damage that has been done between friends and family.
Right.
Because what happened in 2016, because of what happened on January 6th, 2021, and what we're facing now, I think it's incredibly relevant. And it's about human beings.
Right.
And we are in a country that's changing. Just listening, and Arthur was talking about how the world that he grew up in has changed so much. I mean, because it's like, there's been a lot of changes for certain generations.
Right.
We can see where a lot of the changes in diversity and whatnot are threatening that way of life.
Right. Well, you got what I was trying to communicate was there's a speed of change that is just very challenging for a lot of people. And their ability to open their minds and see difference and accept difference, and it's also about the family starting to accept each other more. I was trying to tell an American story through an American family, that all the difference is, the daughter, the Hillary daughter with a Spanish American son. He's got parents who are undocumented and is living here, and Malik in a biracial marriage, and he's just to making these choices, and not wanting it to be too obvious, but this is an American family. We have so many families. I have, cousins, biracial, situation biracial, and first cousin teammates. It just plays itself out. Just plays itself out. And I had situations where I had to block family members on social media because the discourse just became too unpleasant and started to become almost disrespectful with each other. And I want to protect the relationship more than the conversation that we're having. And it was more important to keep the love for the family member and just shut this dialectic down that he wasn't with us. And make sure if they know they're blocked. I'm not sure.
I haven't gotten any responses lately.
I think it's interesting, just talking about the polarization that we're now starting to see emerge, some different dialogue in organizations that are trying to address some of that. And I just happen to know that in the room we've got a person who's very involved with an organization which I've had some involvement with, also called Braver Angels, which is specifically designed to come up with techniques to get the Weds and the Blues to be able to talk with each other. Mary Kay, I'm interested in your feelings about what you just saw as it relates to what Braver Angels is trying to do on a national and also a state level.
Hawaii. That's the answer. First of all, I thought it was very too. And I love that we got both sides of issues and the impact that has on families. Next to Braver Angels, some of the things I got involved in. And the very beginning was a workshop called Family Politics. And because I have a brother that he just passed away, God bless him, is very much all dead. And I have nobody else in the family to talk to.
But
he was still my family member's side.
But
So, but how we kept the family,
Right.
something like this that just brings it out so beautifully. And first time I've ever laughed at the stupidity of what we've gotten into. So I had heard that the dialogue was amazing.
in his ear.
We're going to have to bring them out a little bit. Some special effects.
My initial reaction was, though, I wish we were talking about 2016, but yeah,
Well,
because it's now, too.
right. When I wrote it, I was afraid that this is maybe crazy. I started it within 2 weeks of the election. I imagine I was driving down the highway, and I said, what the heck is Thanksgiving next week going to be like in a lot of places in America? And I thought, oh man, and I just said, I've got to play. And it wrote itself very quickly, and it was in America that is going to have a very uncomfortable Thanksgiving with these conversations, and whether they will actually even be able to stay at the dinner table or stay in the same room. And but I was thinking, am I writing a play that will date itself very quickly? And there was my fear, like, this thing could just be passé. And my sense of it is, not to be immodest, was that it doesn't seem to be dating itself. It seems to be becoming maybe more relevant. And but by chance or luck, is that it's in 2016, so we are removed, and we can see at this point, as opposed to being now, where it's too immediate and too upsetting or scary, the polarization, and that in a few short years, 6 or 7 years, it's become kind of a historical play. It's
Very interesting is that 2016 was the birth of Brave Angel students and starters.
right,
People that started to work
right, right.
hit by the same
Right.
whole polarity.
Right. I don't know if any of you felt it, but I was in the back, and I'll tell you, I mean, everyone, you were all great. I mean, it was just wonderful reading. Just, and even more so because there were no rehearsals. They did not rehearse. There was no rehearsal. This is just a first read. They were doing it at first. So, I mean, that speaks to the professionalism and the excellence. But I have to single out Deborah down there. And the reason I single her out is because I was in the back, and when she was talking to her mother, and she was talking about why these men, they rule us, I just started to get tears in my eyes. And it wasn't the writing, but to me it was the performance, to see that actors take this and just the pain. I just really got the pain of a woman, the disappointment in 2016 when they were so near this, seminal moment in history, and it was delayed, and that was just a beautiful moment. What we're doing.
Those are beautiful moments.
Jess,
I was amazed by it, particularly as I hear you saying that you wrote that right after 2016.
I started it before the dinner, the Thanksgiving. I was starting in 2 days. It was just amazing, and it just all was flooding in.
Well, I was amazed at the clarity that you had so quickly then. We've all been trying to dissect what's happening, and we're still waiting.
Right. And talking about it.
That you had all that language back then with his today's.
Just.
I don't think everybody does. I don't think anyone had that clarity.
Thank you, Brendan. And
I'd like to return to the character of Deborah and that particular moment in 2016. As a woman, I can't obviously imagine what it must have felt like to be entirely disappointed in everyone around you, to feel worthless, to feel hopeless. And whenever I'm encountering a new play, that I just always look for what stuck out for me, right? What am I thinking about when it's over? And for me, I can't help but be thinking about the scene in the middle between she and Hector, where he kind of suddenly, I mean, it probably isn't sudden in their relationship, but where he brings up his sexual needs. And Deborah, understandably, is not in the mood.
Right.
And the way that you've given us Deborah, the way that she's written, the way that she is in the world, it seems like a trauma response.
Right.
And I believe her when she says that she isn't in the mood. And so the fact that they then go upstairs together in what seems to be maybe an amorous agreement was kind of jarring to me, because it felt unkind and irresponsible for him to even be pushing as hard as he was, and it felt untrue for Deborah to be swayed by it.
Right.
Because I'm just trying to put myself in that moment. 2 weeks after the election, she's wearing all black.
Right.
Her world is destroyed,
Right.
and so something about that moment kind of left me uneasy.
Okay. Yeah. It's at least the way I look at it and designed it, was that, and what I learned was that the idea of women chopping their hair off, going black, not having sex after the election, that came out of research. As I was writing it very quickly, it came out that this was going on, that there were women doing makeovers where they were going very dark. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And there was this Lystrata type of moment where it was like, I'm not having sex with this opposite sex. Where it came into there was that I felt she's constantly having Hector come at her to stop doing this weekend. But for her, she cut a deal. And the deal was, okay, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm making no promises, but I want to be able to call these electors. This is my mission. And if that means some compromise here, I'm going to do it because the electors are more important than going upstairs. That was her mandate at that point. As for Hector, to me, his lines leading up to it were, man, this is not a marriage I want to be in. And it was like, this was where he was like, I'm forcing the issue that it's like, coming here, it's now or never. And I'm sick of this. I'm finished with it. And then he shares with you, I'm out. I'm having problems with this marriage. But I get you. I get what you say. Yeah. And it can feel like she's, it's a betrayal for her. But, this to me was just a human moment where, maybe, as standing up, as for a woman, it's not her best self. She would have said no, but then standing up for wanting Hillary elected, yes. It would go to that place.
My question then would be, sorry, yes, is he actually in her way? Does she need to compromise it, or does she have autonomy and can continue to make the calls?
Yeah. I think yes and
That's
no.
just something to think about.
Yeah, it is yes and no. She has the ability to say no, but she's going to keep getting this push from him. She's frustrating him, and he just, it's gone way too far for him, and so this is where he's making his stand, and it's like he comes to that point where it's my stand now, and as Bev says at the end of the first act, God, we should have just gone to a restaurant. Everyone would have been on best behavior, and it's Hector's trying to.
I just have to say, I think it's interesting that Deborah has control over her own sexual agency. Maybe she wants some comfort. Maybe this is one of those little tiny windows where a partner with whom you have a healthy relationship maybe kind of setting some ultimatums, but you still have your own agency. And if you want 10 minutes, and maybe she's only going to get as far as a massage.
I'm not guaranteeing anything beyond getting a massage.
Right.
I'm kind of glad it goes the way it does, because to me, it gives Deborah the agency that she deserves. Okay. Yeah, you can do that for me. And maybe we'll talk about it when we get back to New York.
If it helps, I think that approaching that moment, because we talked and it did feel like, oh, we just have to, do this. But, Johnny and I talked before we started about the challenge for us is we're a couple that you only see in crisis. We don't get to see any of the backstory of what their relationship was like before the election, what their relationship has been like leading up. We describe it, but we don't really get to see it. Right. And the language that they use and their relationship. So in that moment, I kind of see both sides. On the one hand, I was like, as an actor in the character, I was like, yeah, I don't, exactly feel sexy right now. But for me in that moment, there was so much going on that I was trying to balance of like, I need to make all these phone calls. Clearly, we've been communicating enough that I know that our marriage is on the rocks. So there's a certain amount of like trying to balance, I wouldn't say his needs, but some consideration for him with this massive goal that I have. So I really, like, to me, it's like, I don't know if I think they ever would have sealed the deal beyond a massage. But I think for me, the way I approach this character is trying to show him that I'm trying. And I think that that's really important because, to be Deborah in this play, I joked before, but it's like, coming at a 10, you kind of got to stay at a 10. It just feels like a raw wound, the whole play. So, to me, that moment, it does feel slightly awkward. But I don't think it's a bad thing in the sense of like, the reality is as much as the world, we wanted, anybody who was upset by the 2016 election wanted the world to stop, it didn't. We all had to go to work the next day, regardless of gender, whoever was upset. You had to go to work the next day. You had to cook yourself dinner. You had to do all these tasks and to pretend to be okay. So I kind of think that moment works in the sense of just like, no, it's not okay, but we still have to try. We still have to do it. What do you got to add?
I like that. Yeah, I think we definitely like had some moments as we were talking, just of like how we're gonna approach the scene, but like going through it, it can be seen as like a tricky scene, but I definitely agree with you. Like that makes sense.
And I have magic fingers.
Correct.
And she knows that.
I have the best to say about that from an audience perspective.
Sure, be listening.
And as Deborah's.
No, I had no idea.
But from an audience perspective, I think that moment, at least for me, because this play is well written and filled with very heavy content, very real content that I think we all can relate to. From a technical perspective, as an audience, I needed the moment of levity that came after when they hear them doing it upstairs. And I actually think that was a really great moment because, it's awkward, the discussion that leads them to go upstairs, but it was a nice moment to add some levity in an otherwise very packed play. So I actually, for me, as an audience member, I can only speak for myself, it was a good moment to kind of break out of it for a minute, because otherwise that would be a very, very, you need those moments. So from like a technical playwright running with you, I actually really appreciated hearing the moments. If you kind of rewind the whole thing in your mind, can you think of any point where something didn't make sense for you or you didn't feel like it was working?
Yeah.
I know it's a hard question. I'm not 100% sure of this because it's a reading without rehearsals, but some of the monologues, soliloquies felt long. Now, there's a lot done back, and with rehearsals and with full staging, it could flow better, obviously, after time. But sitting here and now, I have to be honest and say, is this going to work? It's like I'm questioning the reality of the time involvement for each of those. And that's
right. What I would say is that I was hearing wordiness back there, and I will be going back into the script with but I was hearing wordiness that I felt I can get the entire message with less description.
the sentiment back of it and stuff.
Yeah, and so I felt like there were places where I had some overwriting still. This script was done a few years ago where I think it was around 108 pages or something, and now it's down to 89 pages. So I did a pretty ruthless cut to it, but I can still hear some more to go, and certain exchanges, certain moments. I mean, that's what I listen for too. When I'm back there, I'm listening for not just what works. I'm listening for what is not working from it, that I'm hearing it. It's not working. And then when I say it's not working as the writer is like, no, this moment I've got to snip 2 lines here, or I've got to do something, because it's falling. It's not hitting the way I want, and it's not the crew. It's the writing. Slows them. Well, yes, yeah, and it's just. And what I would say is that with, actors who have rehearsal time, those soliloquies would be easier to deliver because it has a wordiness and a kind of a literacy that can be challenging. But that was part of this. This is an educated family, a family that. And is engaged. One of the people in the family is engaged. I'd say Bev is not as engaged intellectually, but that's because she's the emotional center of the family. She's the emotional center, and she knows, with food, everything, all great change starts at the dinner table.
It is a motherland.
Yes, but there was, I thought that there was great between yourselves, the two of you. I commend, I say, they created this relationship. You really felt like these are people who have been together a long time.
We have been together.
and have just, there's just some things, it felt good, that relationship, and the way they play with each other and kid each other. It's in the stage direction, but it wasn't going to be read today. But when the play opens, and Arthur comes out, there's a moment where Arthur comes out and he's playing with the pillows and he's setting up the pillows, and then Bev comes back out when not Bev's out there. Arthur sets the pillows up on the couches and the love seats, and then he goes outside to get the lawn solids, and Bev goes around and redoes the pillows. And it's like, that was the relationship.
It's just like real life, right?
That's right, honey, exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. Well, I've been thinking about the real life, trying to connect with those different thoughts at the same time, but I felt like the end of the play was an invitation for real dialogue in real time of the real people that are here, and that seemed to me to be the overarching invitation of the whole work. And I know it's often interesting to speak in a place where people don't know me, because $3 who everybody voted for. In this room, I can make a guess, or some guesses, but who really knows? And the thing that struck me the most about the play was the issue of that we don't talk to each other as much because of texting, and you write to each other. I think there was a word or a line in the play that said, we think we're talking to each other, but we're not. And there's no real substitute for conversation in a live space. And so I was just reflecting on the issue of third spaces. I think is a great, people probably know. There's work, there's home, and then where's the gathering place? That these places have become fewer and fewer. And so here we are in a third space. But that's where
Yeah, no, that's great, because that's what how would I say, art is where we come together in the space of theater, and we take what's outside on the street and we bring it in here, and we just recycle. We do a recycling and a reimagining of what's outside. We don't come in here, so this is that special space. And sometimes I think it gets forgotten. It gets forgotten that, film will not do this. It can engage us too. But I think live performance in front of people and these conversations, this is, it's not, you can't duplicate it in nearly the same way. It could be made into a film, but it won't be the same as the visceral feeling in this space. So where you talk about that third space, that's what it is, man. So thank you for that first thing. Pleasure.
Question that?
Okay. Well, I just have to say, I thought the portrayal of all the characters was excellent. And so I think you all did a great job and very meaningful. I mean, it just that was a great dynamic, of different personalities. And is that something that you, each as actors, was kind of in the script, or was that written in the script that you created, or was it something that, like the type of person you portrayed, type of personality, was that something that you kind of looked at the story and liked it, as a father, and being very traditional, whatever, and then that you all had very different character traits, but that all worked together showed that how strong you were as individuals within that family. But yeah, and you did so many differences, but yeah, that underlying, it was a tug of war, so to speak, but yet, the fact that there weren't still ties that bound you together, at one time. So it's just a very interesting plan. I appreciated the job that you all had all done and the way it was really.
Yes.
I would to admit, as I was having her today, I love Mike Baez. I was just at one yesterday, and I used to look out of New York City. I've seen you many with Broadway shows, productions. I'm driving here today, and I'm like, well, this is a reading, and how could I do like a play because there's no acting? I'm sure I'm still going to love it, but it's going to be a little harder because there's no action. I was wrong. Was thinking now. There's a lot of action, and for all of your own works and for portrayals, it was very nebulous. It was very uncharted. You worrying that it's updated by 2016? No, it's so irrelevant. And all of you people who are here presenting this to us, I must commend your extreme in this mindless. I thought I heard it being 2 acts, and I said, okay, well, it's 2 acts. Okay, that'll be fine. And after the first act, I'm sorry to be honest, but this is the truth. And so if you who know me know that I love theater. After the first act, I said, oh, good, there's a second act. And then they said, there's the third act. Oh, this is so great. So, thank you. The writer.
Thank you.
Thank you. To everyone, and I'm going to present it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure.
So, so here's a question. This is part of the whole world, of course, is going through a lot right now, and I mean, the structural challenges of doing new works in theater are pretty monumental, I think. We're trying to do our little bit here to continue to encourage development. And this, having you in the room is a critical piece of being able to accomplish any great theater. But feedback is critical, and so one of the, I guess, sort of the $100,000 question is, assuming that this just gets better as it gets worked on, and assuming that a fully staged production would inform the piece that much more, how many people here could see themselves actually coming to see a full stage production?
Absolutely. With the caveat that it'd be the same.
I have a question for the audience. I've received at times feedback that, well, we don't want to hear about this. It's like they want a story that we're not confronted with these issues, these problems that are facing us. And somebody wrote me, an actress from California who had just read the script, and she was very complimentary about it. And she said, "But oh my gosh, Getting This Made is like out there was." She said, "Nobody wants to talk about this stuff. Nobody wants to get into this. It's like they're so upset with the situation, and this can be coming from the left or the right, that it's so unnerving for them." But as I was, and when I was writing it and still work on it, and when I was in the back, I just felt like I don't want to hear about small things. I want to try to hear about big things, and hopefully I did, talk about big things. But I just felt like I don't want to run from what's going on.
Well, I think because, again, that was fun. So that's the reason that should figure that art.
Right. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because you're not going to reach the point where both sides are talking.
Right.
Without
Right.
giving them the nudge.
Right.
And this would be a good opportunity that if I was producer to play, I would leave time afterward for discussion.
Right.
It'd be a
Right.
political adventure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And these, I love the talkbacks. I love if you hear the audience and you hear their thoughts, and they may, to make, there's some validation, but there's also some critical thought to think about certain moments, like they mentioned. Those are important to revisit and look at, and just to make sure that there'll be an honesty within the characters to get to these moments and transitions. And it's a challenging transition. That transition led.
Yeah, in the interest of opening that dialogue up, I would like for us to just go around the room and for everyone to say who they voted for. I'm Canadian, so I'll just stand up.
Yeah, what happened to this family on Thanksgiving Day? Bill Gates? Yeah. Wasn't even running. He doesn't want to. Oh, good.
I think that people don't want to hear, people don't want to just endlessly talk about politics, but they don't think this play is about politics. I think it's about,
It's about humans and a family. And even it wasn't about family, it's about the elites. And I don't feel like that's lost
Right.
in there.
Right. And it's the politics that are dividing the family.
Yeah.
It's not like some other event in life or whatever. It's the politics that divide the family. So and as he says, "Oh, Bev, it's all about politics, everything." And it is. You understand?
Well, I think something that really played as well is you start out thinking, it's these Trump versus Hillary sides, and then you realize by the end of the play, who they all voted for doesn't matter, because they only 2 or 3 people actually voted for who they said were going to vote for. As it's revealed. So I think that is that kind of the best twist of this play, is realizing that the issue isn't who we voted for, but what we are bringing into that discussion. Something I thought a lot about during this, and I haven't been alive for a billion elections, but I've been alive for a few. And I think what the 2016 election really did at the end of the day is it made everything very, very personal.
Right.
Now, and I think that's a lot of things. I think it has to do with the candidates, but I think largely it has to do with, the spaces, third spaces, how we publicly discourse now. And, with screens, suddenly everybody's words become much more personal. They hit a lot further. A call to action that you might not normally believe if you saw a man spouting it on the street corner. Suddenly you read about it in a weird chat room and you're swayed, or you read hurtful words and suddenly they feel personal and attack-worthy. So I think that by taking the onus off of who everybody voted for by the end of the play, what you really see are just the feelings that everybody brought in, the betrayal, the fears, the anger, the feeling abandoned. Like, it's all there because it doesn't really actually matter. I mean, Bill Gates, who knows? Dark Horse, maybe it'll look.
Yeah. I appreciate that you were there listening, and like some of the monologues, like I felt like when I was hearing yours, the first half of it, felt expositional to me. And
Right.
I loved it a lot. Like, there was so much that was great, but like you're already on that, and like I don't need to say which ones I thought. I have my little notes here. The one thing, because you're saying how personal it is for people, that I wanted to hear, as much as you want to edit and write pen, like a little more in places, was where there is something really, the fear that's very personal. Like, I heard from you about women and the fear that women have, and I heard from you about the fear that gay people may have, that came down on you, on your character, that came down on your character within the community because of the fear within the community. And I would love to hear from one of these two, and maybe one of us, the historical generational trauma that people have that this family unit doesn't understand.
Right.
And can't actually
Right.
personally understand.
Right.
But that fear of racist fascism, that I'm going to call it, that fear that is a generational historical trauma for people who are not white Christians in this country.
Right.
That maybe there's about the day of mourning versus Thanksgiving, that Indigenous folks, that maybe Latino, that one of you might actually come up with, and I don't know who, it might be more Deborah. What I mean? No, I was like, why are we even celebrating this up? You know what I mean? This is colonialism. This is
Right. Well,
and also, like, I was feeling it too. Like, when we're doing your monologue, that is not just politics for people for whom it's personal, be they, people who are survivors of the Holocaust,
Right.
who are children of that or grandchildren of that, or Black Americans or Canadians or Indigenous folks who might be in the audience listening to this, and like have a disconnect with the idea that like maybe this isn't just politics. So I feel like that could potentially be dropped in between the couples here. Somebody could find a way to bring that in so that it kind of helps us to have a richer understanding of what that means for people. And that, like I was saying, the historical generational trauma kind of stuff, that you don't have to say those words to understand. And that might be where I don't know if you're supposed to be a history teacher, but it sounds like it, right? You're actually not just a teacher, but a history teacher.
Right.
But you don't get that.
Right.
You don't understand that yet. I just want everybody I want my family to all be loved, and whatever you look like, I want you to be loved. But maybe there's a little drop of thinking about it for a second that could be woven in here. And I don't think it has to be a lot of words. I think there's a way to find that and bring that in that might kind of help us understand that it's not just, it is politics, and it's not just politics. And some of the other kinds of fears that I think are bringing to the table that are very real. And yeah, so I don't want to belabor that one I have.
I'm just thinking about Arthur's response to his students. He's disappointed, right? Might he be fearful?
That's where there could be, in that part of the dialogue, I think there's a couple places where it could be dropped. That's one of the places I was thinking of, where the understanding could be brought in through these family members talking. It might be your monologue, it might be somewhere where you're talking about your parents, in terms of some of these things. So I think there's like little tiny things that could maybe add something there. But yeah, like I think it's a yes and, for me it's very much yes, this is about the love of families, but also some of the reasons why families break up about this stuff, honestly, or relationships or whatever,
is that it's yes, it's just politics, and no, it's not just politics. It's actually, you know.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, the generational aspect I see as it's almost their identity. It's the divisions are often coming from their identity, and Deborah as a woman, and her father as the real patriarch. And when she sits down with the patriarch, and he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't repeal without replace with a replacement." She said, "You're looking at the replacements." But it's and then Robert over here, he's coming from his identity and knowing that he was rejected by his father. So I understand. I'll look at that idea, but very much in Hector coming from. I got parents who could be deported. And I actually wrote an epilogue for this. And the epilogue was 2020 Thanksgiving. And it was just a half a page or whatever. And it was Thanksgiving was being held via Zoom. On Thanksgiving. And Malik had gone back to school, to law school, to get a law degree because he felt he could be even more impactful with a law degree. The two parents had Biden signs on the front lawn. And Fred and Merle refused to speak to them. Refused to speak to them. Hector's parents were deported in 2018. Were caught in a roundup and were deported. And Robert found love again, but unfortunately with a Democrat. Not with a Republican. And so it was just, there were still situations going on. Forget Fred and Merle. They're done.
Just to talk a little bit about the I guess the minority aspect of it with like Hector's character or Malik. One of the things I found a bit of a disconnect with was, for instance, Hector's parents being deported was played almost as a joke in that sense.
Well, they weren't deported.
Or no. I mean the possibility of after the election. And that was only given one like minor scene where Hector gets killed pretty much okay. Right. When that was a really big part of why a lot of people were scared of that election. Right. A lot of people who were coming into this country from other countries, that was one of his big selling points, obviously. Right. As well as I feel there's more dialogue from the parents about the swastikas and the noose that was found outside of the school than Malik had thoughts on it, which I understand why the father, of course, would have a lot of thoughts on his students being the one to do such things, but when Malik is in town where a noose was just put up, you would think he'd have a little bit more to say about such a thing. But although, again, that might just be a part of his character or part of how he deals with things. I don't want to condemn anyone or anything. Yeah, just bits of the murder.
Well, yes, I get that. To me, Malik's story and his soliloquy is his comeback to what happened. I see him as, okay, we're going to get rid of some of these myths. We're not 3/5 of a person, and when you shoot someone in the back who's unarmed, that's because he's still 3/5 of a person. And he says, we're 5/5 of a person. We're a whole number, which means we're equal. And that to me was where I was trying to come back to it, and then where he shatters that myth about Jesus. It was like he's not out of a British rock band, and it's like Mocha Jesus, and this is also Malik taking some ownership and control and educating the father to think, do you think he's just this pasty white Andrew Lloyd Webber character? And but I get that, and there could be, some moment what he said was, though, I think that there's a certain, you tell me, but you're not an American black man. You're an American. You're in Canada. But my feeling was, it wasn't that much of a surprise to him. He just feels like, hey, be black, and this stuff goes on all the time. It's like, not to say it keeps upsetting me. He can be privately upset, but it's sort of like, there's this certain reservation, like this is my reality, as opposed to getting completely, hard about it. Like, it's a surprise that Jackson, Michigan has a noose hanging from a tree in a schoolyard. It was like, the black man says, man, this is no surprise. And that's why I didn't dwell on it. But I could look at that moment, I could look at it more. But that's a good point. It's a good point. And Hector's too, and about your parents, to maybe show some fear. But I guess my view was that Hector knows his parents, and it was, my father and mother have been here 35 years, overstaying their visa. These are very resourceful parents. These are very resourceful people. But, as we say, we don't learn about it, that they were they actually ended up getting it.
While we're talking about this, so you helped me solidify the thought in my head. And it's about Hector. So I have to own the fact that we Herslings both see dying today. Each just drove up from Canada. But there was parts during this where I felt like we haven't heard enough on Hector's point of view.
Right.
And you brought that more to light, because I think when Arthur comes back with the SWAT skippers and the nooses, my stomach went, ugh. And then Louis gets his time during the monologue to bring up so much. Hector was kind of, my parents have been able to stay here for 35 years. He really kind of fell into the background in terms of the cultural diversity he brings to the family.
Right.
And I'd like to see that emphasized a little bit more.
What I was from...
And the potential, now here's another mixed marriage.
Right.
Somebody from Mexico and somebody...
Right. From the reading, what I heard was that Robert's character and Hector's character, I want to give a special moment for in the play, a special place where we hear that. I did have an idea about Robert on the phone in a conversation on stage. He's on stage alone, Robert on phone, with the ex-companion, and that they're going through this relationship. And it's like, there can be some humor into it. Says, look, I'm not changing my vote. I'm not turning in my party card or whatever, but I love you, and you shouldn't be doing it. We've got to get past this. But I felt like I didn't provide that moment for your character. Something that is just, each character got a moment. They got a series of moments, but each got, and I think your character also, I felt like your character didn't get enough, whereas I thought all the others had, but your character, those three. So that's something that's really tricky now to go back and try. You don't want to just, okay, I'm going to superimpose something because I feel that the actor doesn't have a moment. But I've got to do it where, if I can do it, it's true.
I think even like with Ryan's character, he's not coming into the relationship this time, but he couldn't come.
Right. It could be, separated. We're in a kind of, we don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, that's a good.
And then that's a good idea.
Right. So it's not cemented. That is separate, the separation. Yeah.
It hadn't even occurred to me before, but Robert's relationship is really the one that more clearly illustrates the divide that we had. I mean, these guys are still trying, but your situation is more an accurate reflection of what society is in a lot of ways. And that could be sport. I mean, somehow.
Right.
I found myself wondering when there was going to be some reference made to the mixed couples. And
To the mixed couple.
couples.
Right.
So, I mean, Arthur isn't exactly Archie Bunker. Like, he's in the world of trumpeting to some degree, although he does some thinking about it too. But until you, I think you apologized to Malik, and there was maybe some reference to that took a little while. But until then, I was wondering what the dynamic might be here. And it also told me, well, how they can't be too far apart because look, that there's this
They're at dinner.
a mix in here. So I don't know exactly what I want to say. If it was I had a little trouble. I was sort of waiting for something to happen to tell me how that came to you, or if it bothered if it still bothered anybody, or
Anywhere. I don't know, I thought it was in the script, but I might have cut it. When he says he's sorry to Malik, I wanted him also to say he's sorry to Robert. And I didn't have that. Or, I guess it wasn't there. I didn't hear it. Almost I missed it, but I didn't hear it. And I thought that he needed... Yeah, and I thought that he needed to say, Robert, I'm sorry, because he didn't, and he wasn't upset that he was a gay man. He was like worried and fearful, what is my son going to have to deal with, because there's all this hatred out there and this ostracism and marginalization of people who are just of a different identity, I mean, in the end, I'm different identity than your character. It's like this, I hate the idea that we say I'm straight, like as if that's, should be the normal. It's like, no, there's too many different identities here where somebody gets to call and says, I'm straight, as opposed to, hey, you're crooked. You're like crooked or something. I mean, that's what that implies. And I hate that, to have to identify with. But a lot of this is about identity, too. Yeah, I know.
Tim, I had a question for you.
Yeah, as a Canadian.
Yeah. So I'll take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't know if it's unfair to ask you this in front of a crowd, but I wanted to, put it to you anyway. Sure. But, from my opinion, yeah, Canadian, it seems like the issue is maybe a lot of monolithic thinking and people kind of, going all in on their, like, one-note political opinion. So what do you think it is about you that's able to hold all these ideas at the same time and, understand all these differing political opinion in ways that maybe I couldn't have?
I guess, a little bit of a political junkie. Just to, like, I started to play without, it just took off so fast. It took off faster than I wanted it to because I hadn't done the research. But I really had done a lot of research just following that 2016 year. We were all immersed in it and, like, over-immersed in it. But I guess just the instinct and the reflex of a writer is I need opposites. I need those different points of view, different characters to come together, and then I can't have them be of the same place, coming from the same place. They have to come from opposite place. But what I want to try to do was also give those people on the right a voice, and to try to create a balance, and we can hear them, but without what I call, we can hear them where they speak intelligently and they speak well of where they come from and they don't speak out of just a lack of real thought. You know, where sometimes I'll listen to someone on, somebody's being interviewed, when they were interviewing people at rallies, and you listen and you, oh my God, that person. I mean, you can't help but have this reflex. What guy? Oh my God. But I didn't want that type of a character on stage. I wanted a character that you have to listen to. You can't dismiss. I don't want a character you dismiss. At least that's the aim. That's the goal. Listen. So, that's the.
I really appreciated it, and that is really it. Because what the Lord saying with him, like about towards the end, at that period. How many times do I have to hear it? That I need to hear it. That was another way to hear it, which I appreciate.
Oh, good.
Just by everything I had heard, he felt so react. And thank you.
Oh, praise. Great. Well, when I found the speech that the writing that Abraham Lincoln did, I was like in shock. I was like, my God. And it felt like the words were applying to the Civil War were kind of in right mad. And when the lamentable strife, and they talked about foreign nation or nothing, and I was like, wow, is that Russia? And it just felt like, and I said, man, this Abraham Lincoln, he was on the money, and it just felt, an author would bring someone like that in that last moment, and so it beats 140 characters.
Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you.